2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside, official hard tea and lemonade of the Carolina Hurricanes. Sold in arena and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Parenting is hard. Technology can make it harder. The Family Media Plan developed by the American Academy of Pediatrics helps make it easier. Go to healthychildren.org/media plan today to create the media plan that's right for your family.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Disappointing end to a pretty disappointing season for us, the way I look at it. And we hadn't been very good in close games. We hadn't earned the right to win close games, and our season ended very similarly to the reason we're sitting in Dayton. And so, you are who you are in pressure moments, and we tried to mask some stuff, and we couldn't do it. And so that's why we're here, and that's why we're heading home.
Mr. Honesty, Will Wade. It still blows me away how many people don't appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to respect it. He's honest. No fluff.
He's not throwing his players under the bus, right? Again, I don't know Will Wade, but sometimes you can tell how he communicates with his team. And they communicate incredibly open and honestly, apparently, with one another. Last year at McNeese State, it was obvious that he was going to leave. He did not make any bones about it with their team. They all knew. They all knew what was coming. He communicates differently than a lot of, especially older coaches would. We're going to hear more from Will Wade, and we'll talk about the Wolfpack, all of that. But it was a tough night, man, for the locals.
Yeah, big time.
Tough night for the locals.
Yeah, not good.
I mean, all we did was lose last night.
Yeah.
Canes lost. State lost. The United States lost.
Oh, yeah. And baseball.
My gosh. Yeah, it was not good. It was just not good.
No.
Oh, well. I had the traditional St. Patrick's Day dinner last night, though.
Oh, did you?
Little corned beef and cabbage.
Nice.
Very, very tasty.
Did you make it yourself, or was it like pre-packed? Because I feel like the Wegmans had.
Yes!
Yeah! Yes!
My wife, almost every day on her way home.
Yeah.
She's drawn to it like gravity.
A magnet. Yeah.
Gravity. I must go.
They might have something. I don't want to miss it.
I mean, normally we don't have time throughout the week. We probably should make time. We don't have time throughout the week to do the let's go grocery shopping and have stuff because honestly, Jack's got soccer 17 days a week. Mm-hmm. I've got hockey. We don't have time to make meals at home. So, but we knew that last night we had a chance. Right. As it turned out, no. But she brought home the corned beef and cabbage in a bag.
Oh, there
from
you
Wegmans.
go.
Because that's how it's. They put it in a bag.
Yeah.
You make 2 little slits in the bag, put it in the oven.
It up.
An hour and 15 minutes.
Perfect.
Boom. Holy mackerel.
Really good.
It was amazing.
Love that.
Could not recommend it more highly.
Yeah.
And I was the only one that ate it.
Oh, wow. Well, then maybe there's leftovers.
Oh, there's definitely leftovers.
Good.
I didn't have time to get it this morning.
Yeah,
but
round 2 this evening.
Definitely. Well, I have a hockey game.
I know. I'll be there, too.
Yeah, I got a hockey game tonight. So, yes. So that was actually the first time I'd had corned beef and cabbage for on the actual day.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Wow, look at that.
Very, very
good. Authentic.
Yes, and I wore green yesterday.
I know.
I was very much in the entire mode.
Nailed it.
All right, we should start.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Well, the Red Reckoning did not live up to the hype, did it?
No.
Didn't. It got off to a bad start in terms of non-conference games against good opponents, and it recovered slightly. Had the win, the 2 wins against Clemson and SMU on the road, but for the most part, it was kind of a dud. It was just not very good. My fault. Like, I don't believe that I have anything to do with it, but if it makes anybody feel better, I'll take the 0.
Okay.
Because I thought, when I looked at the roster, I thought State, man, they got a nice little squad. I wouldn't be surprised if they won the ACC tournament. I think they can make a nice little run in March. All right, with that said, I actually think there was a little bit more good than bad in the game last night. Obviously, the bad is the most important thing. They lost the game. But I don't think we should be that shocked that they lost a close game, because that's what they have done basically all year. Here's Will Wade on the end.
Disappointing end to a pretty disappointing season for us, the way I look at it. And we hadn't been very good in close games. We hadn't earned the right to win close games, and our season ended very similarly to the reason we're sitting in Dayton. And so, you are who you are in pressure moments, and we tried to mask some stuff, and we couldn't do it. And so that's why we're here, and that's why we're heading home.
Facts only, man. I did appreciate the fight at the end. They could have gone away. Texas, I believe the lead got to 9 in the last couple of minutes. And State, they made a couple of shots. All of a sudden, they tie the game. Holloway made 1 of 2. The first one was a good free throw shooter, and he back rimmed the first one, and I thought, oh no, 81% free throw shooter is going to miss both. But man, give him credit for making the second one, creating a tie game, and maybe sending it to overtime, giving me a chance to win the parlay. Because that's, I'm sure, what he was thinking.
Exactly.
Gold thought we would win, and it was going to go over 157.
I at least got that part right.
You got the under.
I took the under.
Yeah. Here's the the first score I saw, because the game started during the end of the Hurricanes game. Actually, it was just after the Hurricanes game. Basically, Canes game ended as this one basically was starting. It was maybe a little bit of overlap, but because I had all sorts of things going on, I didn't even look at the score until there was about 5 minutes left in the first half, and it was 30-23. Thought, well, that's not good for the over.
No, this is not what we like to see.
I wanted points.
Yeah.
And I thought, wait a second, if we get to overtime, I don't need that much in the overtime from both of these teams. Maybe we'll get 2 overtime.
There you go.
I was being so positive, but it was not meant to be. And I realize it's all about my units.
I thought you were going to say the corned beef and cabbage.
No.
Helped.
No, it did not. Although maybe Paul McNeil, he's Irish, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it did help Paul McNeil. Well, I won my other bet, but we won't talk about it. Anyway, but big shots from McNeil, 2 threes. Darian Williams hit a big 3. It gave him a chance, right? And pressure defense put Texas in a bind. They turned it over, and all of a sudden, Holloway makes 1 of 2, and it's a tie game. And then the same guy who made the fall-away jumper that pushed the lead to 4 before, I believe it was Williams, made the 3 to cut the lead to 1. Then there was the turnover and the foul. The same guy, Mark, hit the game-winning shot. Here's Will Wade after the game on what this team will symbolize going forward.
We will be fine. I wouldn't worry about us. We'll be hell next year. Be the worst team we've had. This will be the worst team we have in NC State right here. I just watched it. This is the floor of our program, and we will be much better moving forward. We know what's got to get fixed. I'm very got a very clear mind on what we need and how we need to go about attacking and doing it, and that's what we're going to do. Like I said, as soon as the plane hits the ground tomorrow in Raleigh, we're to work. There's no vacation. There's no time off. Like, we're getting to work, and we're going to get this thing turned around.
All right. Now, this has been interpreted as Will Wade throwing this team under the bus. And everybody will hear what they want to hear. And I understand how easily it is to interpret that in a negative way. I'm not going to argue with the people who said, why is he doing that to these players? Why is he basically hanging it on them? They have very good players. It was not a good team. In many ways, that's on Will Wade. In most ways, it's on Will Wade. But also, it just shows you how difficult it is to portal everybody in and create a cohesive unit. There was very little holdover, only McNeil, from last year, so there was no continuity. And sometimes it's hard to accept roles. You have inconsistent performances. Darian Williams didn't have a good year, didn't have the year anybody expected of him, including him going into the season. Remember, preseason player of the year, Darian Williams. Now, I thought he was pretty good in this game, right? So it's hard to really bang on him for this one. It was not a great, they didn't get the best out of Van Allen Lubin. Foul trouble, yes, but, he did not play a great game tonight or last night. But the way I interpret what Will Wade said wasn't that these guys were bad, but that this team was the worst we will be. In other words, we're going to get better from here. And the grand scheme of things, they underachieved as a group. And that's on Will. But also, the roster was ill-conceived in that they didn't have anybody. All respect to Van Allen Lubin. They didn't have anybody inside who made you go, we got to worry about this guy. And you don't have to have a great player, but they had no size. So any team with size, this is why Virginia was such a horrible matchup for them, and they had to get run by them 3 times this year. It's why playing Duke was always going to be a loss. If Carolina had Henry Vessar in that game, that would have been a totally different story. But they didn't, so they were down their 2 best players, and State. That's why I said after that game, we didn't learn anything about State. Because Carolina totally capitulated in the game, and they didn't have their 2 best players. Nobody played well for the Tar Heels, and while you hang the responsibility for that on NC State for playing well, we didn't learn anything about them because they didn't have to face any adversity because it was a blowout from the start. The Wolfpack, and only Will Wade knows who he's recruiting, what the plan is, and all of that. So it remains to be seen whether or not the personnel will be significantly better. They had good personnel this year. They had a lot of good players. It just didn't fit as a group. There was a lot of same as a group, and you can't have that. There were very few complementary pieces. They were not a great defensive team, to say the least. I didn't think their defense was terrible yesterday. I thought both teams, I think Sean Miller said it after the game, both teams, at least as far as I could tell, because obviously I had 1,000 other things going on. I do think that Sean Miller said after the game that both teams played a little bit tight. And that is to be understood. All right, a couple more from Will Wade on what element is needed in this group.
We need tough, gritty guys that when things get tough, they rise to the occasion. We need, we've got profiles at each position that we need, and we're going to hit on them.
All right. I thought we saw some of that, though, at the end of the game. I thought State, I give them credit for battling and trying to make something of it. As for the whole idea that he was leaving for LSU, would he have been doing this?
We do much better research now. We got we got a hell of a plan. I've been working on this for the last 6 weeks. We got a good plan, what we're going to do, and the type of people we want to target at each position. We're going to go find some guys that fit our profiles.
All right, now, I will be curious to ask whenever we can talk to Will Wade. I want to know how much of the plan involves recruiting through high school and how much involves pulling players out of the portal. My opinion is the portal should be an additive, not the way you do it. I think it needs to be, all right, we need to fill this role this year. That's where you go to the portal. I think you recruit out of high school. That's how you get continuity. That's how you get ownership of the program. And I do think that in large part, what we saw this year was in some ways mercenaries. And I think it's harder. It's not impossible, but it's harder to find those players that truly do buy into what you're building at a school, especially when they know I'm here for one. It's not impossible, but it's hard. It's harder, especially at a place like State when, A, you're in a little bit of a, you're in the cauldron here because of what Duke is and what Carolina is trying to get back to. Like, there's no hiding. Your fans expect and demand a good team. They deserve a good team. They just didn't get it this year. They had good people, good players. They didn't have a good team. And it's hard to just, whip that up. It's not a recipe. All right, let's move on to another team that lost last night. I got thoughts on the Carolina Hurricanes, who lost 5-1 in Columbus last night. Let's start off with the obvious. They didn't play well enough. Start to finish, not good enough. And we could end the game, we could end the conversation right there, but there's obviously a lot more. First 5 minutes weren't bad. Carolina outshot and outchanced Columbus over the first 5 minutes significantly. They had 6 of the 7 shots on goal in the first almost 5 minutes. And then the Seth Jarvis double minor happened. The first Seth Jarvis double minor. I don't know how many times a player has gotten 2 double minors for a high stick in the same game. But, I can't recall it happening.
No.
Congratulations to Seth.
Not usually on the bingo card.
That is, wow. By the way, put it in stone. Seth Jarvis scores a goal tonight. In stone tonight. He will play a good game. I'm telling you that Seth was mad at himself, even though they were both just sort of freak occurrences. But Seth had opportunities, and he's had some opportunities of late and hasn't really cashed in enough. Seth is demanding of Seth. I'll bet you he plays a really good game tonight. We're going to talk about tonight's game in a second. All 6 of Carolina's first period shots on goal came before the Jarvis double minor. That double minor was at about the 5-minute mark. The Hurricanes did not have a shot on goal for the last 15 minutes of the period. Actually, I think they had one, but no. They was it one? They might have had one, but it was a long-distance shot on goal. It wasn't threatening. They didn't have a scoring chance in the last 15 minutes of the period. So we can blame, the double minor all we want, but there's, 12 other minutes of the game, of the first period, that Carolina was not engaged in. They almost got out of the period with just being down 1 goal. But Jackson Blake took a penalty as well, and ultimately they scored 2 power play goals in the first period. It's not the game, but it ultimately it got Carolina behind. Nick Delorier played, sort of. That's not Hurricanes hockey. I'm sorry. I am anti fight to fight. I'm anti-fight to fight. You people know this. I have always been anti-fight to fight. The notion that you fire up your team when you fight in the middle of a hockey game for no apparent reason other than to fire up your team means that the other team is also like not paying attention. Like they're doing crossword puzzles on the bench, on the Blue Jackets bench. I believe that it had no impact at all in the game. Now, I can't prove that it had no impact. If you believe that Nick Delorier and Matthew Olivier having a fake, mediocre fight, because that's really what it was. If you believe that had impact, okay, then you believe that. But I can't make that leap because I don't see the connection. I personally think that other things happened that led to Carolina's goal. I think Aho getting in a mild skirmish with Robbie Fabro and Eric Goodbranson kind of trying to rough up Andrei Svechnikov in the same dead whistle sequence. I think that is what created Carolina's goal because Andre was absolutely shot out of the Blue Jackets' cannon on that move down the left side after taking the pass from Nick Ehlers. That created the Carolina goal. So if you want to assign Nick Delorier meaning, then fine, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you, but I think you're wrong. Also, and I alluded to it a minute ago, it's not what the Hurricanes are. Be who you are. Don't try to be somebody else. Be who you are. The Hurricanes are about forechecking, aggression, speed, tenacity, all of that, and that isn't Nick Delorier. I have said this about Delorier. I think there is a role for him potentially within a playoff series. If it's starting to get a little bit out of control, yep, you dress him, you've got him, and you play 11 forwards, and you only use Delorier when you need him. But I don't believe he makes you better. They are a better team with Eric Robinson in the lineup. They would have been a better team with Jesperi Kotkaniemi in the lineup last night. My opinion. I do believe it differs from the head coach on this. I believe that he had no impact, no positive impact in the game last night. The fight was the fight. I don't think the fight was all that great. But I want to get to the final piece of this that I think really turned the game. It's 2-1 Carolina. They've got momentum after the Svechnikov goal. They're still pushing. They actually still look good in the 4-on-4 after Svechnikov scored. And when the 4-on-4 ended, I thought they were still good. And then Brandon Bussi goes behind the net to play the puck. He was a little slow going to play it. Of course, he had to wait for it to come through the trap, back into the trapezoid behind the goal. But when he got to the puck, he was slow to play it. This is where his inability to comfortably play the puck hurts Brandon Bussi. Because if he simply gets it and snaps it out of harm's way, nothing happens. But he didn't. He hesitated. Danton Heinen, number 43 for the Blue Jackets, clearly trips him. Right skate on left skate. He clearly trips him. Bussi is down. The net is empty. And ultimately, Carolina's players couldn't do enough to keep the puck out of the net. How that goes uncalled is beyond me. It's clearly skate to skate and a trip. It's uncalled. It's a goal. Now it's 3-1. And the Hurricanes were done after that. Which, by the way, is on them. 3-1, not insurmountable. But you were done after that goal. Which brings me back to the original point, is that Carolina wasn't very good last night. So, But you had a chance to take the game back there, except for that play. And again, I'm blown away. I saw that right away, and we have a great broadcast. Neither Tripp nor Mike saw, they saw the stick. The stick was fine, but it was the skate. And I'm like, he was tripped. He was tripped. And I could see Rod Brindamore on the bench going, why isn't that a penalty? And people were wondering, why didn't they challenge? What can you challenge there? There's no challenge. There's no goaltender interference behind the net. Once he goes back behind the net, he's sort of fair game. I mean, you can't check him, but he's sort of fair game. And if Heinen doesn't get skate to skate, it's a fine play. But he did. And he brought him down. And I just don't get how they didn't call that. But here's what I thought last night right after that happened. Well, we got another Andrew Kopp situation. Remember Andrew Kopp for the Red Wings in overtime cross-checking Shane Gostisbehere away from the front of the net. Somehow wasn't called. Even if they wanted to say it was embellishment, you got to call them both because Kopp clearly cross-checks Shane Gostisbehere away from the front of the net. And the pass comes right out in front. No defense there anymore. It's a deflection. He just redirects it in, and the Hurricanes lose in overtime. Andrew Kopp commits the penalty, not called, scores the goal. Danton Heinen commits the penalty, not called, scores the goal. Same deal for me. By the way, tonight's game, huge.
Oh, yeah.
Huge against the Penguins.
Second of 3, right?
Yeah, second of 3. First of 2 in the next 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, Sunday.
Yep.
Sunday back in Pittsburgh. Metro, Canes lead by 7 over the Penguins and the Islanders. They do have a game in hand on the Islanders. Carolina and Pittsburgh each have, I believe, 16 games left. 15 games left. So tonight, and remember, Sunday, also in Pittsburgh, you've got 2 games, and I'm telling you, you got to win tonight. There are not a lot of must-win games. This is a must-win game for Carolina. Because what you don't want is to all of a sudden have the pressure of the standings also playing on you. It's hard when you've had a comfortable lead, and the Hurricanes have had a comfortable lead. And they have played pretty well since the Olympic break. I get a lot. By the way, Hurricanes Twitter and I divorced last night. We filed for legal separation last night.
Okay, yeah.
Because I get tired of the we suck at this and that. I just get tired of it and I can't. It becomes a distraction. That's a me problem. That's not a Canes Twitter problem, but that's a me problem. I don't handle it as well as I probably should. But they are putting themselves, the Hurricanes have put themselves in a position now where you got to beat Pittsburgh. I mean, you have to win one of these 2 games, and you have to win one of these 2 in regulation. In retrospect, it really sucked that you gave them a point the other night, right? It just did. So tonight needs to be 2 points for Carolina and no points for the Penguins. But you'll take 2 points anyway. I don't care how you get it, you'll take 2. But it would be a lot better to get it, have a 2-0, point final tonight. But the Hurricanes, when their attention is up, they've been really good. Their attention was up against Tampa. They were really good. Edmonton, really good. Pittsburgh, a week ago yesterday, really good. So I anticipate they'll be dialed in tonight. All right, we're not going to talk about it just yet. Or actually, we are on the other side. Derik Goffena is Nolan McLean's high school baseball coach, or was, or is? Well, yeah, it was. Because Nolan McLean's not in high school anymore.
Right.
He's 24.
Right.
So Nolan McLean pitched for the United States last night as they lost 3-2 to Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic Championship game. We'll talk to Derik Goffena about Nolan, what makes him so good, how he might be processing what obviously is a disappointing outcome. We'll do that next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's bracket time, baby. Get in on the madness with a basketball mayhem bracket challenge from 99.9 The Fan. Fill out your picks, and with a perfect bracket, you could score the $1 million national grand prize. That's right, $1 million. Dominate the local leaderboard and pocket $500 for being the best in the triangle. Presented by the Powerhouse Pros at North Carolina Courage. Register now at 999thefan.com and let the madness begin.
Life's great stories are built on yes and. Yes to the big game and the private suite. Yes to the beach and sailing offshore. Yes to traveling the country and exploring new ones. With the new Millionaire for Life from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can say yes to $1 million now and every year for a lifetime. Millionaire for Life. Winning is just the beginning. Drawing 7 days a week. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 8.47. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This is Ray Womble Jr. from J.E. Womble & Sons in Lillington. Spring is almost here and grass cutting will be in full force. Bobcat zero-turn mowers will make your lawn maintenance so much easier. We're offering up to a $1,250 instant rebate and 0% financing on select Bobcat mowers. Now's the time to upgrade to a brand new Bobcat that brings tough to turf. And remember, if J.E. Womble & Sons doesn't have it, you don't need it.
Folks, it's back and it's better than ever. Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Law Tigers. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Last time that you can enter this contest is March 29th, but don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter. Again, caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. It's a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity with no appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day with a rate that's at a 3-year low. One client just got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out all their credit cards, started a home improvement project, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,500. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much cash you can get. No hard credit pull up front. And imagine, this time next week, you could be credit card debt-free. Loan Pronto, A-plus rated by the BBB with nearly 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
When you think breakfast, think Briggs. It's St. Patrick's Month. Briggs has all your March specials, including 2 corned beef eggs Benedicts, a special avocado toast, a special sandwich, and more. They're all available this month only at Briggs.
The next disaster is coming. Make a plan. Keep extra medication on hand. Make copies of important documents. Stay informed and be ready. Learn more at americares.org/send-us-in.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is Adam Gold.
The American Cornhole League. I don't know if you can wager on it. Let me go to FanDuel and find out if you can wager on it.
I think I read you can get a scholarship. Kids in high school can actually get scholarships for cornholing. Who knows? I don't know what the technical term is.
I'm just not going to say anything.
The Adam Gold Show.
Derik Goffena is the head baseball coach at Garner High School, and I just realized now that I pronounced it incorrectly the last time we talked. He is back. He coached Nolan McLean when he was at Garner, and Nolan McLean got the ball from the United States manager, Mark DeRosa, last night in what amounted to the gold medal game of the World Baseball Classic. Didn't go great for Nolan. It wasn't awful. The U.S. ultimately loses 3-2 to Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic final. All right, Coach, what were your emotions like going through, watching that, kind of living through it with Nolan?
Honestly, it's been really fun. It's been fun to watch him, to get this opportunity with, playing against the best players in the world. I thought he competed really well, and, it's just really exciting. It's exciting to see a local kid doing really good things.
Well, you and I talked last year when he was setting the National League on fire and I believe, the number one starter for the New York Mets, and he's still a rookie. There aren't a lot of rookies that enter the season as the number one starter. I think Paul Skeens might have done that with Pittsburgh a few years ago. How has he handled all of this?
He's handled it really well. when he was in high school, he was a very mature, hardworking kid. He's always been pretty grounded. He comes from a really good family that's has a lot of athletic background, and so I think he was always given really good advice growing up. And even this offseason, every time I caught up with him or he would come to the field for workouts and stuff, he's just working nonstop to try to get his body in the best shape, to keep his arm in the best shape, and has stayed honestly really grounded throughout the whole process.
Derik Goffena is joining us here, Garner High School baseball coach, Nolan McLean's baseball coach back in the day. So this offseason, he was around town. He wasn't like hanging out with other big leaguers in Florida or Arizona. He was hanging around Garner.
So him and his wife live in Anger, and he works out at a facility in Garner where a lot of pro guys kind of work out. There's a guy kind of on the outskirts of Garner that built his own baseball facility, and so a lot of pro guys work out there. And he would come to the weight room at the high school from time to time. He'd come to the field from time to time if he needed a catcher to get in his bullpen, or things of that nature. But yeah, he was around. He was around for a lot of the off season, and definitely getting his work in.
That's got to be an absolute blast for your guys to be able to be around somebody like him.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's when he comes out there, he's able to. I think the biggest thing is the younger guys see his work ethic. Like when he's doing his bullpen, he has a journal. He's writing down what he's supposed to be doing, how the pitch went. So everything he does is very detailed. And like on any given day, there was a day where him, Brett Banks is also in the Mets organization, and Jackson Lucas pitches for Liberty. So there are days when they're out there throwing live to the guys, to get their work in. But it helps us in the long run. But there's not a lot of offensive success when you're facing those three guys.
I mean, how many of your guys square up Nolan McLean?
None, and it's okay. So.
I mean, if one guy does, that guy's talking about it for the next 2 years.
Look, they're happy if they just foul it at times, and, just kind of going back to it. He's such a hardworking kid. Him and his wife are just wonderful people. His family has definitely kind of built him into the person that I think if he can just kind of keep things on track,
right,
he'll be a very successful professional baseball player for a long time.
Derik Goffena is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Nolan McLean's high school baseball coach. He's at Garner High School. His mechanics, how are they similar to when he was in high school in terms of what he is doing now? I know mechanics play in some ways a role in whether or not pitchers stay healthy. What are his mechanics like when you watch him?
Yeah, mechanically, he's very similar. He's always had kind of a shorter arm path. He grew up as a catcher, and so, he's always kind of had a shorter arm swing. In high school, he was primarily a fastball slider guy, so he certainly developed a much better variety of pitches as his competition level has gone up. But from a mechanical standpoint, it's very similar to where he's most athletic. It doesn't seem like much has changed from that standpoint. But as his body's matured and as he's learned, different techniques from major league pitching coaches and college pitching coaches, there's been minor adaptations, but his arm's pretty much the same.
Derik Goffena is Garner High School head baseball coach, and he coached Nolan McLean, who pitches for the Mets. I don't know, he had like 8 or so starts last year. He was it took him like a month before he was basically giving up more than a run. And he had 2 starts for the U.S., 1 in pool play against Italy, and then last night in the championship game of the World Baseball Classic. Let me just ask you about, because I know he was a three-sport kid in high school. He's a football player. He was a basketball player. Does that stuff help? I know so many parents, you put your kid in one sport and he plays year-round, and they really force you to do that with a sport like soccer that my son plays. But do you like the fact that he played so many other sports?
Absolutely. He was an elite athlete at all 3 sports. And, as he went to college as a two-way player, he went to play football and baseball. And then now as he's continued at the Mets, there's just so many attributes from the other sports that allow him to do things athletically that he may not have been comfortable doing, otherwise. It's whether you're hitting or fielding or pitching, the primary goal is to be athletic in the way you do it. And I think, he trained for baseball when it was baseball. He trained for football when it was football. He probably liked basketball the most. And just, different attributes from each one of those sports, I think, have helped him get to where he is now.
Does he like country music? Was he like, because if I compare him to Scotty McCreery as a pitcher, Scott, I mean, you can consider country music and baseball. McCreery was a 2-sport star too, right?
Well, Scotty only did baseball, so he was only a baseball player. And look, he won a lot of games for us as well. I don't really want to compare them because that wouldn't be fair to Scotty. But, they both had their own unique way of getting outs. Nolan's was more power and Scotty's was more finesse.
Oh, Scotty would paint. Was he a junk baller? Was McCreery a junk baller?
He had a really good curveball. So he had a really, really good curveball that allowed him to get a lot of teams out.
That is that is awesome. You've had the opportunity to coach 2 incredible professionals. One of them just isn't a professional athlete.
Correct. This is my 25th year at Garner, and we've had a chance to work with a lot of awesome kids who have gone on to do really, really good things. But those 2 are certainly special, and it's really fun to watch their careers.
And let me ask you one more thing before I let you go. Derik Goffena is the head baseball coach at Garner. He coached Nolan McLean, also coached Scotty McCreery, taking shots almost. Not really, it's Scotty. You talk so much about the fact that he's grounded. How do you think he will process? I mean, because it's obviously disappointing that they didn't win. It's disappointing for him that he gave up a couple of runs. Same thing that happened in pool play in the game against Italy. How do you think he will process the opportunity, really, to be on that stage?
I mean, Nolan has always been just the ultimate competitor. So, I mean, the fact that they didn't win that game last night, certainly probably weighed on his mind, even though, when you go 4 2/3 and give up 2 runs, you put your team in a situation to win a baseball game.
No doubt.
But knowing him, he obviously wishes things, he'll go back and probably watch the video and see maybe where some changes can be made, But on one hand, he's, like I said, the ultimate competitor that wants to win every game, but he's also a very smart and rational guy that understands, there are going to be, these are the best hitters in the world as well. And there are going to be times that you get hit a little bit. Hopefully at the end of the day, he realizes that he did put his team in a position to have success in the game, even though I'm sure he feels like he wishes he'd have done a little bit better.
Derik Goffena, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I know it was fun just watching Nolan on that stage. And I hope, as a Mets fan, I hope he wins 30 ball games this year.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you very much. Take care. By the way, how'd you guys do yesterday?
We got beat. We lost 7-0 to probably what's the best team in the state. So a lot to be learned from it.
All right, well, good luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it. Take care. That's Derik Goffena, head coach at Garner High School. All right, when we come back, questions and answers. Next hour, Chip Patterson. Also, top of the hour, Derek Jeter just wanted to remind everybody that he won a World Series. I'm pretty sure that that's what happened last night in coverage of the World Baseball Classic. All of that next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available. If you feel lonely, isolated, anxious, or overwhelmed, help is here all day and night. Call, text, or chat 988 without cost, without judgment, and without waiting for an appointment. You'll get support that can make a difference. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The tournament is here, and right now FanDuel is dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tournament. All you got to do is opt in to claim your bonus. Use them on bracket picks, money lines, spreads, totals, game props, same game parlays. But don't wait. These bonus bets are only available for a limited time. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Does FanDuel care about you? They want you to have more fun. The tournament is amazing. Enjoy it even more with FanDuel's money. FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Maximum bonus $500 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we delve into patient-centered policy and how it aligns with actual patient care. My guests are from Novant Health, Elizabeth Outen. She leads the Novant Health Center for Public Policy Solutions. And Dr. Sid Fletcher is the steering committee physician chair.
The clinicians, they're focused on the patient, the person that's in front of them as their primary part of the mission. They're not having to think about policy and other things in the background that can be distractions towards the clinical work.
It is enabling clinicians to care for our patients in the way that they were trained to do. They are the experts. They're dealing with exactly these challenges you're highlighting every single day, plus the medical knowledge that they have, and the policy needs to follow that.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
You know the only feeling sweeter than opening a college acceptance letter? Knowing that you'll be able to pay for tuition however far you go. The first step? Completing the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA for short. Find out how much money for college you qualify for. Grants, scholarships, and other opportunities are waiting. How far can you go? Find out at cfnc.org/FAFSA101.
The Agricultural Institute at NC State University is preparing graduates for emerging trends in precision agriculture and food animal processing. Our students learn science, technology, and profitability to integrate into agricultural businesses. Experience cutting-edge research, innovative teaching, and tap into our statewide professional network. Invest in yourself and learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
This is
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. From the National Hockey League, Seth Jarvis has been fined $5,000 for the second high-stick double minor.
Wow. Wow.
I got nothing for that.
I'm telling you.
I got nothing for that.
What
I feel.
kind of
I mean,
time
look,
warp?
guy makes $7.5 million. Not going to feel $5,000, but still, the notion that he should be fined for that is essentially saying that it was intentional.
Right. Wow. After so many players who do actual dirty things don't get fined for things. But Seth.
Whatever.
That evil guy.
Whatever. All right, let's do a Q&A.
Okay, so first up, looking at our YouTube stream, we have William. What do you attribute to the struggles of the blue line lately?
It was yesterday. I mean, I don't know that yesterday was a blue line struggle. I think yesterday the whole team was bad. I don't think the blue line has struggled lately. I think, for the most part, I think Carolina's played really well. So I don't know how to answer the question that I kind of I disagree with the general premise. I mean, some guys have a bad game here and there. I thought Jacob Slavin struggled against St. Louis, but he was tremendous against Tampa. He was tremendous against Pittsburgh. He was tremendous against Edmonton. So, again, I don't think it's been a blue line issue.
All right, next up from Corey. Can Bussy get better at puck handling and decisions, or is this what he is?
Well, let's hope that with a full summer of attention to the problem, you can always improve. Last night, the game against St. Louis, he was actually very good handling the puck. Because now we're hyper-focused on it, even though, I mean, it was kind of recognizable right away that was a weakness. But it kind of brought itself to a head the game in Calgary where he gave 2 goals away. I thought he was excellent against St. Louis handling the puck. Last night, the problem was simply indecision. He was back waiting for the puck. You can't touch it outside the trapezoid. So he was waiting for the puck, and he should have known exactly where he was going with it right away. The hesitation when he actually received the puck ended up costing him possession, even though he was tripped, because he clearly was tripped and they should have called it. If he gets rid of the puck sooner, it doesn't matter because the puck is out of harm's way. But he didn't get rid of the puck quickly enough. So, yes, that indecision ultimately hurt them, but he's got a summer to deal with it. Yeah. I don't think it's going to get better now.
Well, we've got next up from Justin. You have said Canes are legit Cup contenders. Yeah. Would you also consider Columbus and Buffalo as better Cup contenders with the heaters that they're on currently?
No. Buffalo might be a Cup contender.
Yeah.
I don't think Columbus is. I don't think Columbus's depth on the blue line is good enough. Jet Graves looked very good last night in goal. But I don't think they're a better Cup contender than Carolina. I'm not sure Buffalo is a better contender than Carolina. I still think the 2 best teams in the East are Carolina and Tampa. I still think Tampa's the best team in the East, and I've been consistent with that throughout. But Tampa's now chasing the Sabres for the top seed in the Atlantic.
Next up from H. Sadler. Hurricanes seem to be noticeably different when Gostisbehere is out. Is he a key component to the Hurricanes' success?
What? Shane Gostisbehere has had a ridiculously great year. Of course he's a key component to their success. I don't know that they have been necessarily worse. I mean, they're not as good without a good piece. Not to mention that he makes their power play better. Not to mention that when he's on the ice at 5-on-5, their offense runs a little bit better. So, yeah, I mean, but I don't know that they have. I wouldn't necessarily hang losses on, man, we just don't have Gostisbehere. They got one power play last night. It didn't matter. That's egregious when there were opportunities to give Carolina power plays. So, anyway, I mean, Gostisbehere's been awesome, so he's a huge part of what they do.
And last but not least, what grade would you give Will Wade this season?
Oh, I mean, it was an F for the. Again, it was a good roster. There was a lot of the same. There were a lot of players who were similar. Whether it's the way Darian Williams played, the way McNeil and Abel and Arsenault and Holloway, there were just a lot of point wing guards. And only Van Allen Lubin was an interior player. They didn't really have anybody else. So, but ultimately they lost too many close games and they lost to bad teams. So yeah, that's an F in terms of the coaching performance, but I'm still very bullish on Will Wade.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We should all celebrate the basketball tournament, and right now FanDuel is helping you by dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tourney. All you got to do is opt in to claim your bonus. You can use them on bracket picks, money line, spreads, anything you want, even same-game parlays. But don't wait, because the bonus bets are only available for a limited time. That's right, FanDuel giving you money for the tournament. FanDuel.com/local to learn more about it. FanDuel.com/local. Pick your bracket and use their bonus bets now. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Maximum bonus $500 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank, NA member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Canes hockey is back. Grab an ice cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Canes. Only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles, so easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Official hard tea and lemonade of the Carolina Hurricanes. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. A lot of people have work to do on their homes. They need a roof. They want windows, siding. You guys do everything. But people are also, I'm not sure I can afford it. The Aluminum Company is a great place to go. Tell us why.
Well, tons of times I'll go out to people's houses and they're thinking about doing a bunch of home improvements at once. Siding, roofing, windows are a big package, right? And the first thing they think of is, well, I'm going to need to go get an equity line or a second mortgage. One of the things we have is tons of financing options where you don't even need to go to your bank. We can do that in-house for you and run payment options for you. And lots of times the financing that we offer is a better percentage rating than you can get from your bank, and you don't have to go through all that mess to get to it.
I like that. Also, is there 12 months 0 interest?
12 months, 0 interest, 0 payments for 12 months.
0 payments and 0 interest at the same time for 12 months.
That is correct.
That is a double header right there. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, online, aluminumcompany.com.
Dugout has double the madness this March. Catch all the tourney games on the Dugout Tavern and Grill's massive 16-foot surround sound video wall. On top of that, baseball's kicking off, and we've got the MLB package. Catch basketball, baseball, all the games, while you enjoy $20 Corona buckets, Modelo bucket specials, New Belgium Voodoo Ranger IPA pints for $5.50. Plus, we've got beer reps coming in every weekend to treat the crowd to giveaways. Catch all the March action at the Dugout Tavern and Grill on Kelly Road in Apex.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
McNeil flops up a three and connects left corner. Paul McNeil makes it a 5-point game. Timeout NC State with 90 seconds to play and life here in Dayton. Copeland inbounds to McNeil. Fires a three. Got it, far corner. Falling down. It's a 2-point game. Paul McNeil drills a triple. Timeout here in Dayton. Williams now. He puts up a three right wing and bangs it in right side. Darian Williams a three. 29 seconds left. 1-point game. Inbound to Mark in the backcourt. Whistle blows. Timeout Texas. Their final timeout at 25.4.
It's the Adam Gold Show. What's up? YouTube. Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. Either way you get to us. Tomorrow, YouTube is your friend. Yeah.
Yep.
YouTube's your friend tomorrow and Friday.
Mm-hmm. And you won't see me, but I'm here.
More so tomorrow, YouTube.
Yeah.
Right? Friday. Actually, no, both days, YouTube will be your friend, but
yeah.
We're scattered. There's a whole bunch of things going on tomorrow. And if you are, I don't know, if you're listening in Wilmington,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if the Wilmington, ESPN Wilmington, where we are our affiliate there,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they got basketball on, or if you're listening in Asheville, ESPN Asheville.
Yeah.
I don't know
Or
what
the
you're-
Triad, like my mom.
What exactly?
She'll
What do
have
you?
to watch.
Where are you, you'll have to watch.
Yep.
YouTube, search Adam Gold Show. Thank you very much for making us part of your day. Either way, whether you're listening on the radio, whether you are watching on YouTube, or you are consuming this through podcast form, because you can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
We are here every day. I am Adam Gold. That is Victoria. That was highlights from yesterday's state loss, ultimately to Texas. I have a question about that game. For people, because the video is all over the place, and I have wondered this. If State had simply rushed to inbound the ball, we had two Texas assistant coaches on the court. One who went all the way out almost to the painted area, the lane.
Right.
He almost got into the lane, like a 3-second violation, potentially. And the other coach who came out to get him. If State inbounds the ball immediately, they got to call that a technical foul, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have to. Now, by rule, it's probably a technical foul anyway. Although NC State, I did see, I think it was McNeil or Holloway calling a timeout. I wonder if they would have kind of wiggled their way out of that situation had a referee called a technical foul. Because what happened? That's a technical foul. I am curious. Quadir Copeland was absolutely aware of the presence of the assistant coach. If he was able to, and this is not a criticism at all, because I don't think anybody would have, but had Copeland been thinking this clearly, I see the assistant coach, What if I pretend to be running down the court looking to accept an inbounds pass and crash into one of the guys in quarter zips? They have no choice but to call a technical foul. State would go to the free throw line. I don't know, I think it's a one-shot technical. Might be a two-shot technical with a chance to tie the game. So I was just curious about that, how that would be adjudicated. Because one dude ran onto the court. He was actually on the court before the ball went in. He was standing next to a fellow, like a Texas player who was on the court playing. He was standing right next to him. I'm curious how that would have played out. All right, we have a second take at news of the day, and we're going to get to two items of note and then something we actually haven't covered yet. Pat Gongba won't play tomorrow against Siena for Duke. So we talked about this before. Gongba's not necessary to beat Siena. He may be necessary to against Ohio State. But he is definitely necessary for Duke to get to the Final Four and win it. They're not winning the title without Pat Gongba. It's just not going to happen. He provides way too much. Already without Caleb Foster, they need Gongba. Mikael Brown for Louisville won't play in their opening game against South Florida. I've already picked South Florida to win. This doesn't help Louisville's chances at all. When Brown went down, Louisville's season kind of started going sideways, which he's that good a player. But he has been bothered. I think it's a bad back. Anyway, Gongba won't play against Siena. Brown out against South Florida. Now to the World Baseball Classic, which, again, I keep talking about it. Baseball sounding like that in March is awesome. So, local guy, Nolan McLean, you heard our conversation with his baseball coach. Nolan McLean started, gave up a couple of runs in 4 2/3 innings. That's good enough. The United States offense was on walkabout. Bryce Harper's 2-run home run in the 8th inning? 7th or 8th inning was the only offense for the U.S., and they ultimately lose. Eugenio Suarez, who I think plays for the Brewers, hit a go-ahead double in the 9th inning to give Venezuela the lead. After the game, Kenny Rosenthal on Fox with this.
Passion's been unbelievable, and we've heard a lot of players say in a World Series.
Eugenio Suarez. After Rosenthal asked him what made this team so good.
The union. We're not just teammates. We are family. This team is awesome. We are family here. We love because we feel the jersey. We feel our country in front of us. That's why this is us as players, as a people, as a human being, and as a Venezuela. Now we are the champion.
Venezuela wins the World Baseball Classic for the first time. So, Aaron Judge, Team USA. We can debate all day long whether or not he had a good World Baseball Classic. I don't care. It's not easy. He said the other day about the atmosphere when they played the Dominican Republic in the semifinals. He said that it was the best atmosphere he'd ever experienced. He's played in a World Series. There may have been other players who have compared the World Baseball Classic to the World Series and favorably talked about the World Baseball Classic as opposed to the World Series. Derek Jeter, Yankee legend, now part of Fox's incredibly mid panel, albeit all but Burkhart. Kevin Burkhart's awesome. A-Rod's pretty good. The rest of it's kind of weak. Anyway, Jeter does not like anybody putting anything above the World Series.
Passion's been unbelievable, and we've heard a lot of players say bigger than a World Series. Bigger than a World Series, Derek Jeter?
I think the people that said it's bigger than a World Series never played in a World Series.
Okay, Derek, I'm sorry. I watched. If anybody watched, I think you could tell. Maybe not to American players. In fact, Bryce Harper said it. It's not the Olympics. I get it. Did anybody watch the Dominican Republic team? Anybody watch teams from Puerto Rico? Remember, 4 years ago? 3 years ago? Did you watch Venezuela? I promise you, to those players, it meant way more than a World Series. Way more than a World Series to those players. Maybe not to you, Derik. I get it. We can't all be, in the World Series every year of your career. And nobody is taking anything that you accomplished away. But that was a pretty arrogant, snobbish statement to make. I mean, just incredibly arrogant, because everybody feels differently about everything. And if you paid attention, you could tell what it meant to Venezuela. You could tell what it meant to the Dominican Republic. Juan Soto saying things after, like, we all know who the best team was. Yeah, Juan, you guys kind of blew it.
Yeah,
you got screwed by the home plate umpire, but you guys kind of blew it.
This is why people have problems with the Yankees.
It's really maybe a Jeter thing. I was kind of offended. Not the right word. That's just snobbish out of Derek Jeter. Just utterly snobbish. You just don't know what certain things mean to certain people. And for Venezuela, I mean,
that was huge.
You could tell. You could tell in the semifinals what it meant to them as they were losing to Italy and then coming back. Baseball is on to something with this. Got to figure out a way to make it work even better. Mark DeRosa, USA manager, was asked why he didn't go to Mason Miller, their best reliever. He said he honored the Padres, meaning he was only going to bring Mason Miller in if the U.S. had a lead. Well, you're only going to use him one inning. So in a tie game, why not bring him in? Maybe you get kind of lost. I mean, if he was unavailable, he's unavailable. That's fine. There were players who were unavailable. Tarik Skubal, Tigers ace, left after pool play. Like, done. I'm done. Got 3 games to play. This could have been Tarik Skubal pitching and not Nolan McLean. It's a difficult place to put the World Baseball Classic because players and teams are getting ready for the season, the day job, where they get paid and they have an obligation to their franchises. I get all of it. But if you're available, you're available. I don't understand that. So, and DeRosa should have said that. He should have said to the Padres, if he's here, he's only going to pitch an inning anyway. So who cares? We're trying to win. Maybe you need a real manager. I don't know. Maybe it's not fair to DeRosa, but maybe you just need a real manager. All right, we'll take a break. Chip Patterson is going to join us on the other side. We will talk about juice. We'll talk about state and more with Chip Patterson next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Pittsburgh.
Andrei Svechnikov buries it. 38 seconds in.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Martin scores! A dart to the far post in bullseye. Jordan Martinook puts Carolina in the lead.
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. He invented the no closing costs mortgage, and I have been taking advantage of it ever since I met Gordon in 1999. I'm an 11-time customer. I have purchased 2 homes through Miller Lending and refinanced 9 other times. I have never paid a dime in closing costs. Have you ever gotten a gym membership you didn't use? Yeah, we've all been there at one time or another, and there's nothing worse than paying for a benefit that you will never use. And if you pay closing costs, that's what you're doing, because what you are banking on is that the mortgage rates will not drop in any way over an 8-year period, because that's the break-even point when you pay closing costs. It's only good if you're going to keep your mortgage essentially forever. Miller Lending. Don't ever pay closing costs. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
Folks, it's back and it's better than ever. Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Law Tigers. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Last time that you can enter this contest is March 29th, but don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter. Again, caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Doesn't the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club give the best massages?
I've never felt so relaxed.
Thanks to this month's scratch-offs, this is our life now.
It's like winning again and again and again.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $200 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.49 to 4.37. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost the house, I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found tax relief advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio, I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax relief advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
Things people don't believe in. Little green aliens. Bigfoot. And that Spectrum TV combines all your favorite streaming apps with live TV at no extra cost. But that one is actually true. You get over $100 worth of streaming apps like HBO Max, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Peacock, AMC Plus, and more, included with live TV at no extra cost. It's only the way TV should be. It's only everything. Learn more at SpectrumTV.com.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. I'm staring at a video of USA baseball players accepting the silver medal.
Yikes. In baseball.
Right? No, I mean, the World Baseball Classic is we don't have a bronze medal game.
Nope.
So I'm not really sure why they're accepting silver medal. I really don't. I don't get it. But there are people who are upset that the U.S. on the field had to accept a silver medal. I mean, whatever. If there's no bronze medal, we should just give gold medals to the team that won. That's fine.
They should give plushies to the second place instead of silver. You should get a plushie like the Olympics.
Oh, God. Nathan McKinnon did not like his one single
not at all.
bit.
Mm-mm.
Not a single bit. I mentioned this yesterday very quickly before we get to our friend. We got the World Cup of Hockey coming in, what is it? Not next year, the year after. Russia should be involved, right? It's not an international. I made a joke about it. It's not the Tri-Wizard Tournament. We're not, bringing together 3 magical schools, to make friends. I mean, it's just a professional hockey competition divided up into nations. Russia's all over the National Hockey League. They should play. End of discussion. Shouldn't even be a discussion. Russia should play in the World Cup of Hockey next year. I will no further questions. All right, let's move on. It is Wednesday. I can relax. Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com. We got to talk juice. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm fired up, But
fired up for what?
In the words of former NC State coach Mark Gottfried, my juices flow all the time.
Did he say that?
Obviously, yeah.
Was it about basketball?
Listen,
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
So there's obviously in the wake of an NC State game, which in some ways might have felt like the season for some NC State fans.
Oh my gosh, it's such a microcosm.
I know. I hate to reference Gottman and to already lead us into that when there is so much exciting. There are still 66 teams dancing, and the Chipalytics and the juice ratings they've been strong. I'll tell you what we're factoring in for those who are making any last minute decisions. Road winning percentage and conference against the spread percentage. 2 things that I'll be looking at. Did you cover the spread against your conference? Not non-con, because some of that was so long ago.
Right.
Your conference winning percentage in conference play is a better encapsulation of your recent form compared to the market value. And then, of course, road winning percentage really more than anything exposes some of those teams that were just so much better at home than necessarily, showing a greatness for being able to go win on the road.
So it matters against the number. That's what you're saying. You add the the FanDuel component of this, and that does matter.
Well, I am also making picks against the spread all over the place.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you go on CBSSports.com right now, and every single day that there are NCAA tournament games, I will have at minimum of 3 or 4, maximum of 5 or 6 of the best bets for the day.
Gotcha.
So, that's another piece of, when you're thinking in the market, the expectations. I mean, just to give you a full potpourri, college football win totals are out right now. And so it's like, yeah, I know.
Let me ask you. I want to ask you about that.
It is funny because what it is it just sets an objective number, because so much of, college sports discussion is feelings and vibes and what I think about my own team and the 3 times that I saw this other team play, because I started on ESPN News because the tip times didn't get slid back on properly.
Right.
I think that there's something to be said about the objective number. So conference spread percentage and road winning percentage were 2 columns I've added to the juice ratings since the bracket was released.
All right, we're going to go back to the juice ratings in a second, but I saw, I don't know who put this out there, but win totals, I think Wake Forest was involved in this as well, for Duke, Carolina, and State in college football.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the highest was 5.5 for those 3 schools. Maybe somebody was 6.5.
I think Duke might have been 6.5.
I think Duke was 5.5.
I know the Tar Heels are 5.5 too.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not sure anybody was higher than 5.5. And all I could think of was, man, it's going to be a fun year. I mean, are we really looking forward to this? Like, will one of our teams be bowl eligible?
Yeah, NC State.
I think so too. But I'm bullish on the Wolfpack. But I say that all the time. It seems
it's bullish. It is bullish within what context you want to draw, because in a robust Atlantic Coast Conference that goes from coast to coast into the Gulf of America, and basically has like 9 different mini conferences inside of it, draw your own neighborhood and you can be king too. But the problem is the national runner-up, the Miami Hurricanes, just pulled out the big bank, bought up the best quarterback from the conference champion. And I don't think anybody's car goes as fast as the one that's down there in South Florida.
Good.
So yeah, sure. Like, Do you have what it takes to be the 6th best team in the ACC? Yes, said 9 ACC teams. We'll see. So you can be bullish on NC State to be the 6th best team in the ACC, or maybe even the 4th best team in the ACC. But this ain't the Champions League. You don't get automatic bids to the big tournament just by finishing 4th in the table.
Don't talk to me about Champions League, because Liverpool's not going to beat Galatasaray today, I got nothing. Gulf of America.
Another sporting event that, like the Players' Championship, I wish I cared more about right now, and physically, mentally do not have the ability to give them 1 ounce of my energy.
I'm with you.
I'm aware of it, and I just can't meet the moment right there on the pitch.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to watch it today either, and that's fine, because it's frustrating. All right, back to the juice ratings. What does Pat Gongba not playing against Siena? It doesn't matter against Siena.
No.
What does it do? How much juice is siphoned out if Gongba is out against Ohio State as well?
No, not the problem there.
Right.
I would be more concerned about
St. John's.
What?
St. John's or Kansas.
Well, yeah. I mean, either one. You're talking about Flory Badunga for Kansas. You're talking about Zuby Ejiofor for St. John's. Bryce Hopkins. I mean, you're talking about big, physical. Like you just, if anything else, you just want the length. You want the rim protection. You want the hands. You want the weight. You're not going to run into that against Ohio State. Ohio State's dangerous because of its guards.
Yeah.
A guy named Bruce Thornton, who you've probably heard of, who's like, he is, I think already Ohio State's all-time career leading scorer. Yeah. And it's
a program that had Clark Kellogg.
Right. And there's a lot of people are just going to be waking up to him when he's going up against TCU in the early window on Thursday, and he might go for 28, right? The guy's just a walking bucket. Got another guard with him named John Mobley, but all of the strength for that Ohio State team is in the backcourt. TCU doesn't have a lot. They've got a guy named David Punch who's good down low, but for Duke, we're talking Sweet 16. We're talking Elite 8. The injuries, I do not expect to catch up with them in Greenville.
I don't expect them to catch up with them down there either, but Gongba not playing for 2 full weeks does impact conditioning and all of that, and it does speak to a larger problem. I mean, if he's not available for, I don't know if the regional starts on a Friday or a Thursday or Friday, but if he's not available for next week, the first game next week, then it speaks to whether or not he'll really be able to be effective in any of these games, which absolutely impacts their ability to win 6 in a row.
See, and now we need to open up column M, okay?
Oh, wait.
Because
what's column M?
Welcome to the logistics corner. Because
I need you know what? Here's what I want. I need a flow chart. I need some sort of a whiteboard with all of the juice components on it, and then I have to figure out a way to get a graphic on this screen behind me, so we can have it up there. All right, give me column M.
The logistics corner. Okay. Because here's what's happened. All right. Saturday night, St. John's is feeling good. I mean, just a great night in Midtown. You know, you got one over on the Huskies. They thumped you by 30-some, but you beat them by 20, cruise to a win. Well, congratulations, Johnnies, Big East champions, regular season and conference. You're shipping out to San Diego to play on Thursday.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Kansas Jayhawks, you too, are shipping out to San Diego to play on a Thursday, and you're playing against a team from California. Oh, dear.
Cal Baptist? When did Cal... I can't keep track of this.
And now, whoever emerges from that, because once they get there, once they get settled, once they get acclimated, then it's just fun, right? Oh, are we going to see Bill Self and Rick Pitino? What does that mean? You know, all those things that are going to be a lot of fun to break down. I'm going to note this last very important piece of the equation. That game out in San Diego is going to be a Sunday game, okay? So, and because it's Kansas, you think they'll get put in the just before 60-minute spot? So you're playing like in the afternoon.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, one of those teams that is a draw will get in that spot. Yes.
So you're playing on an aircraft carrier in San Diego on a Sunday, and now you got to fly back and play Duke in DC. Ugh.
Yeah.
Logistics corner screwed St. John's in Kansas, because here's where the other San Diego pods are playing into. One San Diego pod led by Arizona is playing into San Jose. Another San Diego pod is playing into Houston. Guys, what are we doing here?
Well, first of all, the top seeds are the only seeds that are supposed to be protected by anything in terms of where. I wonder how many North Carolina fans have appreciated this. The fact that a 6 seed gets to play close to home in the first round is somewhat surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
Normally that is reserved. And look, if I'm glad for UNC. I'm glad for their fans. They get to drive there. But normally, if I were the 3, and who is the 3 there? Illinois?
Illinois.
I would be livid. Now, the last time I saw this happen was Duke being placed in the same region as Baylor for the regional. But they generally don't pay much attention to the second round because so much can happen. But Duke had to play Baylor in Houston the year they went to the Final Four and won it in 2010. If I were Illinois, I'd be really mad if I get North Carolina 4 hours from their campus?
Let's back it up. The Fighting Illini could be playing North Carolina in Greenville and then Houston in back-to-back rounds.
Well, Houston is the 2, so I get it. I totally understand that.
Well, what about Florida as the 1, playing Houston as the 2 in Houston?
It speaks to what I said before. Duke was a 1 seed that year when they played Baylor. When they played Baylor in Houston, they were a 1 seed. So, yeah, theoretically, that should be, but they don't usually think about the second week in terms of protecting anyone. But look.
So anyway, all that to say, I think whoever Duke gets in the Sweet 16 will not be the best version of themselves because of logistics corner. I think Duke's path to playing in the Elite Eight is paved, even with its injury issues. However, that next step will be the difficult one.
I'm going to ask you who you think that next step will be against in a second. Don't give it away yet. Chip Patterson, who joins us every Wednesday. When the brackets came out and the world went, oh my gosh, Duke got hosed. Duke got the toughest bracket. I think they are in one of the 4 toughest brackets, no doubt about it. Actually, I think Michigan got the easiest bracket. I do not see anybody in Michigan's half that can touch them. And Michigan's great. I can make arguments that Arizona might have to deal with maybe the best player in this tournament in Acuff from Arkansas in the Sweet 16. I can make an argument that Florida will have to deal with a team that has already beaten them in Vanderbilt. I can make an argument that, especially Duke without Pat Gongba, that St. John's, the way they play, or Kansas with Darren Peterson, who is maybe the best player in the coming out of college this year, that Duke has a losable game, that Florida and Arizona each have losable games. I think Michigan could sleep to the Elite Eight. I think they got the easiest road, but honestly, nobody really knows. So all bets are off when the tournament begins. So now, go ahead.
Okay, real quick. I just turned this in literally 90 seconds ago. It'll be up on CBSSports.com later.
You did that while we were talking?
Well, turning it in is different than writing it, you know? You just
no, I'm kidding. I answer email all the time.
Hey guys, it's done. But the exercise is best team on each seed line. I do it every year.
Okay.
It's a fun way to look at the bracket, fun way to stack these teams up. But one of the takeaways that I discuss in the intro is what it tells us about the regions. The West region, 5 teams selected from best team each seed line.
Mm-hmm.
The East region, 5 teams selected. The South region, 4 teams selected. The Midwest, where Michigan is, 2 teams selected who were identified as the best team on their seed line. And one of those was Nolan Smith's Tennessee State Tigers at the 15th spot. I've got Tennessee State as the best 15 seed.
Yeah.
Shared the regular season title, then beat Morehead State by 45 points or whatever it was in the OVC title game. And then the 6, Tennessee, which means that Michigan will not play a single team until the Elite 8 at the very earliest, who we identified as the best of their seed line. That I've got the best 2 is in the South, the best 3 is in the South, the best 4 is in the West, the best 5 is in the East. Michigan, to your point, I agree, very favorable draw.
My gosh, if I was, we used to do a pool where we get eight people, and we'd all throw whatever the money was into a hat, and we would have a lottery for draft position. If I had the first pick in this pool, I would take Michigan, because I think you are guaranteed 3 wins. Guaranteed 3 wins. I think Michigan's going to the Final Four. But real quick, before we get to picks and all of that, and what your thoughts are with Carolina, against VCU, who do you think Duke will see in the Elite 8? Will it be Michigan State, Connecticut, or is there an upset over there?
I think it will be Connecticut.
Okay.
I would buy Michigan State.
That's what I think.
But I don't think there's an answer after those 2. I don't think that there's I don't trust Mick Cronin and UCLA to go to Philadelphia and get that second win. UCF's not a fantastic team, but to be able to get that second win against UConn, man, that's asking a lot out of the Bruins.
I'm going for all former Duke players as coaches.
Louisville is a mess. We found out an hour ago Michael Brown's going to be playing in that. So I don't really see Michigan State getting tripped up. I think Michigan State UConn is an amazing Sweet 16 game. I mean, truly, that if I am biased, obviously, but I'm so separated from it that I don't feel that bad. But if you want to talk about the real money maker, and I'm talking about money maker,
all right,
give me Duke, Kansas, UConn, and Michigan State in Washington, D.C. I mean,
that's pretty good.
Let's go.
Oh, so you like Kansas over St. John's?
No. I said the money maker.
Oh, okay.
Because St. John's is my pick.
Right. Okay. My pick too.
I'm just saying. Yeah. You want to fire up the ratings cannon? Let's go with a little Duke, Kansas, Michigan State, UConn as a doubleheader in Washington D.C. in the Sweet 16.
Those are 3 of the top 5 draws in college basketball. Connecticut isn't one of those, right?
Do you know what Connecticut is when you play the game? How many of the last 12 national championships have been won? How many of these teams have been to the Final Four this many times? There's just whether it's the TV draw, whether it's the recent success, the coach. I mean, John Shire, I realize I'm way over my skis, but he is in a region with Hall of Fame, active Hall of Fame coaches, and he does not look out of place whatsoever.
No, I'm not sure he's not better than all of them. And Danny Hurley's not an active Hall of Fame coach yet, but at some point he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's too good a coach. He is a nut. And my opinion is that a
nut with 2 national champions.
Yes, but the world of college basketball does not treat him as they should.
Ooh.
They don't. He should be dealt with much more harshly, but I guess they can't because he wins all the time. But he's like this short of Bobby Knight in terms of behavior. But I don't know why he's not thought of more harshly.
I know why. I know exactly why. Because he catches himself, he doubles back. He says, I shouldn't have said that.
And he does address it. You're right. Absolutely.
I think that's why he's treated differently. Because I've seen him there when he's like, I just needed a little bit of space. When he is vulnerable, it's not as though his antics and his intensity lead to this behavior, which crosses the line and then all of a sudden he's indignant about it or over it or saying like, you can't criticize me, when he's vulnerable and when he says, I shouldn't have done that, I went too far.
Right.
I think that's why he gets treated with a little bit more humanity.
First of all, thank you for pointing that out. It does speak to the fact that every once in a while, it's okay to say I'm sorry. Like it shouldn't be looked at as a weakness to go, yeah, and that's on me. And we just don't see enough of that. Chip Patterson every Wednesday. Before we get to your bracket picks or anything, if you want to give any of those, I announced my entire bracket yesterday. Do you like Carolina's chances against VCU?
I do not like Carolina's chances whatsoever. I am begging not to endure what the conversation might be.
Oh, okay. If they lose.
Yeah. You know,
well,
it's just, I was talking to another dad at preschool drop off named Mike, who's a Carolina alum. And,
right.
You know, we were talking about it, just saying, it just give yourself the game against Illinois on the weekend, so it feels like you're a part of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you lose on day one to a double-digit seed, and then as a North Carolina resident, I mean, the NCAA tournament is just a language we speak.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not like you're gonna cut it off. Like, I'm swearing off the tournament, not watching it anymore. No. But to watch all of those other days of basketball and just know that you're already sitting at home and already out of the mix, it just does not feel like you belong as a part of the event, even though you are technically in the field. So yeah, I am rooting to not endure what I predict the conversation might be if you finish with loss to Duke, where even though you covered the spread, you clearly got outclassed.
Mm-hmm.
Lost to Clemson, where you were lifeless at the worst part of the game, into the first half, start of the second,
right,
only to storm back and break your heart with a 1-point loss. And then to lose to VCU potentially is just, that is taking any goodwill from 18-0 undefeated season at home, from beating Duke, from like all these other things, from, oh, look, Caleb Wilson's jersey is going to go into the rafters because he's a second-team All-American. Like all of that, it's going to be very tough to swallow if the season ends loss in those three stages.
The conversation around Hubert Davis is going to be had either way.
That's fine. But it will be a different, more toxic conversation.
The administration isn't going to move on from Hubert Davis either way. Not after this season. So all of the conversation will be had just basically online, on Twitter, on social media. That's where this conversation is going to live.
Big Hitters Only podcast hosted by Ross Martin.
Every single week.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. And that's fine, right?
Love Ross.
Yeah, I do too.
Carolina fans should listen to it.
Kanata Edwards, who's a great friend, said this to me. You know Nada. He said North Carolina's a top 3 basketball school, and they do not have a coach that merits that.
But they haven't needed that. Well, I would argue that, because it's not just there. I mean,
they haven't.
Are you going to tell me Sean May is one of the top assistants in America?
No. But they had it in Dean Smith. They had it in Roy Williams. And maybe at the time, that was also, McGuire. But I love Hubert Davis, and I think he is great in a lot of ways. And I think he's a good fit at North Carolina. But I do understand the point that if we were ranking college basketball coaches, and again, I am not advocating at all for moving on from Hubert Davis, but if we were ranking college basketball coaches, we'd be here a minute before we got to Hubert Davis. I think that's what they're looking at.
I think the mentality extends far beyond the idea of just the head coach, because the fact of the matter, and maybe it is because of specifically those 2 national championship winning head coaches, North Carolina basketball has been able to achieve the success that it has had while maintaining the Carolina family in a way that has not been interested in keeping up with the Joneses. And this is when we get into the whole existential conversation. Like, I don't know if all of Roy Williams' assistants were the best assistants in America.
Agreed.
Or were they just his former players?
Agreed.
You know, like even we started to see it cycle back, or like all the staffers, everybody around, you know, if you really want to play the game, and I don't want to throw Nod out there because I know Gary Parrish has been on that too. He always has that as his comeback talking to anybody. He says, do you think Carolina's one of the best jobs in America? Do you think Hubert Davis is one of the best jobs in America? If those two things don't align, I just want you to make sure you're okay with it. And it's kind of the way he turns the mirror on you. And I would say that I just think that in this time of existential dread, when we're talking about the arena and we're talking about the new leadership at the university and, you know, all these other pieces, I don't know. It's, if you really wanted to just keep up with the Joneses, you'd fire everybody who played for Carolina and go hire a bunch of computer nerds.
I don't,
because that's what old math nerd Nate Oates did at Alabama. Math nerd Nate Oates got a little bit of that football money, decided he was going to hire 29 computer nerds to steal signs. And that's why at the NCAA tournament, Alabama doesn't get enough tickets for all their staffers. So they've got to buy up extra tickets for their staffers so all the computer nerds and crimson polos can holler out what defense you're in.
They should have given their point guard a little bit more NIL money. And
I'm sorry, how much?
I'm
sorry, how much?
A few more pounds, if you will. And maybe he wouldn't have had to seek additional revenue streams. That's a story.
The purpose of the point is that Carolina basketball for a long time has looked out for its own at the expense of trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, they've always tried to stay within the family. That's what got them Matt Doherty.
So
I like Hubert Davis. I am not advocating for firing him. I think Carolina can be at the top of the game with Hubert Davis as the head coach.
I agree.
But that is the argument that is being made. And I see the merits of that argument, whether I agree with it or not. I see the merits of it, and they're in a difficult spot. I think Hubert's a good coach. I really do. I think he's a better coach than they give him credit for. But there are some super good coaches out there, and I'm not sure that we are not, 3 weeks away from talking about the best coach in the sport being 8 miles away. So
let me take you to
we have to go. I need your bracket. I need your final four if you want to do that. Because we're out of time.
I got Arizona winning it all.
Do you?
Something
Okay.
I never thought I would say.
Well, they're good.
But they're
great and they're healthy.
They've got 4 wins against 2 seeds in the last 9 games.
Yeah.
They're like Duke. I don't believe in Michigan. Duke's got injury issues. Florida can't shoot the 3 very well and might have to beat Houston in Houston. I think Iowa State beats Michigan to come out of the Midwest. I think Houston wins in Houston to be able to come out of the South. I think you've either got Duke or UConn, coin flip right there. And then I think you've got Arizona coming out of the West, and then Arizona wins it all.
I have Duke beating Arizona in the final. I have, I think, Houston beating Vanderbilt in that regional final. I have Florida out in the Sweet 16.
The dystopian future is you're playing basketball in an arena up near the old airport, far away from Franklin Street, with a coach who's never been to North Carolina and a chancellor who went to Duke. Do you want that dystopian future, Carolina fans?
You're the best. Chip Patterson, always fun. I can't wait till Wednesday of next week. Thanks, man.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
Chip Patterson. All right, when we come back, we'll stretch. We have bets to place next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
He scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The tournament is here, and right now FanDuel is dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tournament. All you got to do is opt in to claim your bonus. Use them on bracket picks, money lines, spreads, totals, game props, same game parlays. But don't wait. These bonus bets are only available for a limited time. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Does FanDuel care about you? They want you to have more fun. The tournament is amazing. Enjoy it even more with FanDuel's money. FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Maximum bonus $500 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month we delve into patient-centered policy and how it aligns with actual patient care. My guests are from Novant Health, Elizabeth Outen. She leads the Novant Health Center for Public Policy Solutions, and Dr. Sid Fletcher is the steering committee physician chair.
The clinicians, they're focused on the patient, the person that's in front of them as their primary part of the mission. They're not having to think about policy and other things in the background that can be distractions towards the clinical work.
It is enabling clinicians to care for our patients in the way that they were trained to do. They are the experts. They're dealing with exactly these challenges you're highlighting every single day, plus the medical knowledge that they have, and the policy needs to follow that.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
You know the only feeling sweeter than opening a college acceptance letter? Knowing that you'll be able to pay for tuition however far you go. The first step? Completing the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA for short. Find out how much money for college you qualify for. Grants, scholarships, and other opportunities are waiting. How far can you go? Find out at cfnc.org/FAFSA 101.
Measles is spreading in North Carolina. It's highly contagious and can make infants and children very sick. Pneumonia, brain swelling, long-term health problems, hospitalization, and death can occur. Protect your child with the MMR vaccine. It provides lifelong protection. Serious side effects are extremely rare. Millions of children are safely vaccinated each year. Insurance covers the cost and free vaccines are available. Make sure your child is up to date. Talk to your doctor or visit ncdhhs.gov/measles. Paid for by NCDHHS.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
Have you ever considered a career as a public power line worker? Public power line workers use a variety of specialized skills to build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system. As a public power line worker, you can expect a career that allows you to work close to home, a safety record superior to other energy providers, and training and apprenticeship opportunities. Learn more about public power and careers in public power at electricities.com.
Gold. Gold.
I told Jack in the car, you know what the word of the year is? He goes, what? I said it's 6-7. He just laughed.
I know.
It just means nothing. And that's fantastic that it's now the word of the year. What a country.
Can we bring back cool story, bro? That way, us millennials can be like, yeah, cool story, bro. I would love
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Hope all is well. Are we ready? Are we ready to stretch or place bets? Whatever you want to do, Victoria, we can do it.
I can be really fast with with this one. So Tom Brady, he's just like a cockroach. You just can't get rid of him in football, apparently.
Right. Yes.
Because there's now rumors that he might be trying to come back for the Olympics, the 2028 Olympics in flag football. Yeah. This was an interview with Good Morning America where he said, quote, "Never say never," but then he added, "It's probably unlikely," end quote. So he suggested it might be more of a coaching or advisory type position.
Well, they have this flag football extravaganza coming up this weekend, or maybe it was last weekend.
And that's what he's participating in. Is it's in Los Angeles this Saturday. It's called the Fanatics Flag Football Classic.
Sure is.
So yeah, he's in that, and so maybe his avocado ice cream will keep him in the game that much longer, but we'll see how that goes. And if that happens, I'd probably place a bet on it.
Place your bets. Do ya? I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, went 1 for 2 last night. I don't know what I did last night. I placed a last-minute emotional hedge wager and won it.
Been there.
So we'll just move on, not even talk about it. You go first.
Well, like you mentioned tonight, I agree with you between our Hurricanes and the Penguins. I think it's got to be a Seth Jarvis night. Come on, buddy. Let's not get minors. Anytime goal score plus 170.
All right. I am going to tell you guaranteed Miami of Ohio, who went 31-0 during the regular season, but lost their first game in the Mid-American Conference Tournament. They will beat SMU tonight plus 245.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Also, the Flyers are in Anaheim taking on the Ducks. The Ducks are ducking, and I am going to pick the Ducks. The Ducks at home.
Are you ducking nuts?
Over 6.5 is plus 205.
My gosh. Ottawa Senators are in Washington to play the Capitals. Give me Washington and the under 5.5 and...
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, and we've all been in the same spot. We have picked that upset, the 14 to beat a 3 or the 15 to beat a 2, and you get off to a great start. Team gets out to a 12-point lead in the first half, and then they fold in the second half because they're not as good. Well, with FanDuel, they feel you, and they have you covered because FanDuel is offering an early win on your pre-live moneyline bets for college basketball. So if your team takes a 10-point lead, whenever it is, you win even if they don't. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Get started with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Tokens are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including token expiration, market requirements, and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Canes hockey is back. Grab an ice cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Canes. Only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles, so easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Official hard tea and lemonade of the Carolina Hurricanes. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
For 2 days only, Bailey's Fine Jewelry invites watch lovers to a can't-miss pre-owned luxury watch event, March 20th and 21st in Raleigh's Village District. Explore hundreds of exceptional Bailey's certified pre-owned timepieces from iconic brands like Rolex, Cartier, and more, expertly curated and available for a limited time. Whether you're a seasoned collector or purchasing your first luxury watch, this is a rare chance to see an unmatched selection in one place. 2 days, hundreds of watches, one destination. Bailey's pre-owned luxury watch event, March 20th and 21st. Learn more at baileybox.com.
Stop letting high interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. It's a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity with no appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day with a rate that's at a 3-year low. One client just got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out all their credit cards, started a home improvement project, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,500. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much cash you can get. No hard credit pull up front. And imagine, this time next week, you could be credit card debt-free. Loan Pronto, A-plus rated by the BBB with nearly 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hi friends, this is Mark Pons with Chapel Hill Tire. Spring break is here. Whether you're heading to the beach, the mountains, or just getting out of town for a few days, make sure your car is ready for the trip. At Chapel Hill Tire, our team of ASE certified technicians can help with brakes, oil changes, and the routine maintenance that keeps your drive smooth and stress-free. With 13 locations across Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Carrboro, Apex, and Cary, there's always a Chapel Hill Tire close by. Schedule your appointment today at chapelhilltire.com and drive happy.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm not impressed by Jon Scheyer. I'm awed by him. For a guy that age to have this level of maturity, and he's not trying to be Coach K. Certainly he's taken principles and lessons from Coach K. We all have, but he's not trying to be that. He's very intentional about everything he does. It's really impressive because following a legend, we haven't seen a lot of success in that model. And they not only got the right guy, but they got the right one out of their stable.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Julian Council, Locked On Panthers podcast, going to join us in about 15 minutes. When Julian and I talked earlier in the week, I said, hey, let's do something later in the week. And he went, yeah, anytime after 12:01 on Thursday.
Oh.
I'm not available.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I know what I know how you feel.
Yep, get it.
The tournament is all encompassing. I just assumed he was really fired up for the Tar Heels, and he went, let's not talk about it.
Yeah, there's that.
So, Julian Council, will talk Panthers with him coming up in 15 minutes. That, of course, was Jay Billis talking about Jon Scheyer, and I alluded to that with Chip Patterson. John has taken some slings for losing the game to Houston last year, for losing the game to Texas Tech this year, for losing the game to Carolina this year. They had double-digit leads in all three of those losses. In fact, going to the Houston game, all the way back in the national semifinals last year, and there's a very good chance that Duke and Houston will meet again in the Final Four. In the semifinal round. The only three losses have been games that they should have won. And John has taken some heat for allowing those things to happen, as though the head coach allows it to happen. I thought last year it was a little deer in headlights-ish late in the game against Houston. They should have won the game. Everybody understands that they should have won the game. They understand, they've admitted it publicly, they should have won the game. Texas Tech, whatever it was, Carolina, whatever it was, John said something at a press conference that we have used here and I have used repeatedly going forward with regards to the Hurricanes. He said, how do you want us to lose? I mean, you should get credit for playing well enough to get the lead. I think as fans and as reactionary media members who at times, and I'm not saying I don't do this, I think we all do it at times, are looking for ways to be provocative, to say things that like strike a nerve with people. If there's 2/3 of a game left and you have a 2-goal lead for the Hurricanes, I'm sorry. That is not a blown lead. That's just the ebb and flow of a game. Now, if there's 5 minutes left and it's a 2-goal lead, different story. I do think there's merit to Duke falling apart late against Houston. All right, the way they closed the game against Carolina. Yeah, those have merit. But credit needs to be given for the other things. And again, you should get credit for getting the lead too. All too often, fans, those of us who get paid to talk or write or cover, we focus on just the end result as opposed to everything else. I don't know if Duke's going to win. I picked them to win. The whole thing. 3 weeks from Monday. 3 weeks from, is it this past Monday? Next Monday. I don't even know. Whenever it's over. I can't do the math now for whatever reason. I think we're going to be talking about that dude is the best coach in the game. The best modern college basketball coach in the sport. 4 years, 3 conference titles. Make what you want of 3 conference titles. The records, all of it. Assign whatever meaning you want. And I know that the people who are fans of other teams locally will find things to knock down the accomplishment. It's all good. That's part of the rivalry. 1 Final Four, 1 Elite Eight, right? So far, 1 Final Four, 1 Elite Eight. Did lose to NC State in that Elite Eight. And they lost in the second round, right? His first year. I think they lost in the second round to Tennessee. It's a pretty good early resume for Jon Scheyer. But that's where I think we're headed. Of course, I don't think they're winning it without Pat Gongba. So the fact that he's not going to play tomorrow against Siena, that's not a big deal. It might not even be a big deal if he doesn't play against Ohio State or TCU on Saturday, because I think they'll advance regardless. I'll bet you he's in uniform for that game, just in case. But they'll need him for the second week. They will need him for the second week. All right. I mentioned the Hurricanes play tonight. Also, Mikael Brown from Louisville will not play in their game against South Florida. With all of that said, let's do a very quick wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
And we will keep it to NC State basketball. Will Wade, head coach, after the 2-point loss to Texas.
Disappointing end to a pretty disappointing season for us, the way I look at it. And we hadn't been very good in close games. We hadn't earned the right to win close games, and our season ended very similarly to the reason we're sitting in Dayton. And so, you are who you are in pressure moments, and we tried to mask some stuff, and we couldn't do it. And so that's why we're here, and that's why we're heading home.
I mean, it doesn't get any more simple than that. They were poor in close games. They lost 8 of their last 10. a team that looked like it was headed for a top 4 ACC finish and maybe, a 6 seed or better, depending on what happened in the ACC tournament. And I said, for most of the year, I think NC State has the team to win the ACC tournament. The two big men never really got better over the course of the season. Essentially, one fell, Boubet fell completely out of the rotation. The other guy was sort of in the rotation. They basically were a team without an interior game. Van Allen Lubman's a good player, but he's limited. And they had a lot of the same, and they didn't guard. But I still am bullish on the future of NC State and Will Wade. And here's what he had to say. I think this might have been, this was not on the podium. This was it might have been just to Noah Fleischman of On 3. But because I know I saw him tweet about it today. But it could have been just to a group of reporters. Here's Wade on comparing his first team to what's coming.
We will be fine. I wouldn't worry about us. We'll be held next year. Be the worst team we've had. This will be the worst team we have in NC State right here. I just watched it. This is the floor of our program, and we will be much better moving forward. We know what's got to get fixed. I'm very got a very clear mind on what we need and how we need to go about attacking and doing it, and that's what we're going to do. Like I said, as soon as the plane hits the ground tomorrow in Raleigh, we're to work. There's no vacation. There's no time off. We're getting to work, and we're going to get this thing turned around.
This will be the floor of our program. All right, a lot of people have interpreted that as throwing this team under the bus. That's not the way I look at it. I look at it as, hey, we all know that this team was never as good as it should have been. There's talent there. They've got shooting. They've got versatility among players. What they didn't have was size. What they didn't have was defensive continuity. Every once in a while, they would play good defense. Look, ask Texas if they were easy to play against in the last couple of minutes of that game. The shots that Texas hit were, difficult shots. And State turned them over a bunch. But there wasn't enough of that during the course of the season. There just wasn't enough. There was very little consistency defensively from this group. They'll get better. They'll figure all of that other stuff out. But I am still bullish on the future of NC State and Will Wade. All right, we're going to break. Julian Council will join us. I think it's been a very good free agency period. We'll find out what Julian Council thinks of what Dan Morgan's work has been, and we'll look ahead to the draft and maybe even more in free agency and trades. Next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's bracket time, baby. Get in on the madness with a Basketball Mayhem Bracket Challenge from 99.9 The Fan. Fill out your picks, and with a perfect bracket, you could score the $1 million national grand prize. That's right, $1 million. Dominate the local leaderboard and pocket $500 for being the best in the triangle. Presented by the Powerhouse Pros at North Carolina Courage. Register now at 999thefan.com and let the madness begin.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man Gordon Miller. Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road and Cary. The man who invented the no closing cost mortgage in 1987, brought it to the Triangle in 1996, and he's been on Kildare Farm Road and Cary ever since. We're going to do a math problem here. We're going to count up how much money I've saved with Miller Lending. All right, here's how we're going to do it. Closing cost. Let's just use $5,000 give or take. Most people, $5,000 give or take, depending on the size of your home loan. Don't pay it. $5,000 to the savings. Then I refinanced because I bought the house with Miller Lending. Saved another $5,000 and lowered my monthly payment by over $300 a month. I did that 4 years ago. I can't do that math. That's too much money for me to add up on how much I have saved. You could save too with Miller Lending. On Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Online, MillerLending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 2502146.
Doesn't the
North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club give the best massages?
I've never felt so relaxed.
Thanks to this month's scratch-offs, this is our life now.
It's like winning again and again and again.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $200 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.49 to 4.37. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
This is Ray Womble Jr. from J.E. Womble & Sons in Lillington. Spring is almost here and grass cutting will be in full force. Bobcat zero-turn mowers will make your lawn maintenance so much easier. We're offering up to a $1,250 instant rebate and 0% financing on select Bobcat mowers. Now's the time to upgrade to a brand new Bobcat that brings tough to turf. And remember, if J.E. Womble & Sons doesn't have it, you don't need it.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
This is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Carrot.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. I believe Julian Council is wrapped up in the NCAA Tournament. We have disturbed him from filling out brackets, but the man behind the Locked On Panthers podcast is here anyway, so maybe we'll fill out brackets together. Julian, how are you?
I'm well, Adam, and it's a bracket, singular. Only one bracket is what I fill out, and it's the bracket that I fill out as I'm watching the selection show on Sunday on CBS. Been doing this since I was a kid. Used to get it out of the newspaper. Now I just print it, and I make my picks right then and there. Don't change my mind. I just go with my gut from the very beginning, and that's the only bracket I fill out.
I appreciate that. Do you hate on people who fill out multiple brackets?
No, do what you want to do.
That's fine. Or because you were leading me to believe that you were that guy, which is fine. I don't mind that guy. Here's the thing. I have one bracket that this is the one I announced it yesterday. I read every single game that I picked. And are you with me? Shouldn't we have to pick the first four games?
No. I see. That's kind of like, I don't know anything about the 16 seed, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, I know you can do your research.
They're not going to win the next game. I mean, it's still a game to pick.
You still don't want to get that one wrong because you always have like the thought of having like the mythical perfect bracket.
Do you really?
I know that Warren Buffett's not out there anymore giving out a million. I mean, I want to have a perfect bracket every single time I do this. I don't care whether I'm making money or not. Like, I fill out one bracket. Like, that's going to be my picks. Like, I might join like, a bracket challenge and all of that. But whatever I pick there on Sunday during the selection show, like, that's my picks. We're sold there. We're solid. No, I don't know. I'm excited, though.
By the way, I was all over Howard yesterday. I'm a big fan of the Bison. So go Howard. They will lose. They will lose the next game, no doubt about it.
I got into Howard.
Yeah,
I didn't almost go there, but I got in. I thought about going.
Oh, good for you. It's a great school.
Yeah.
Great school. I like Lehigh tonight. You probably do too, for other reasons.
Who are they playing?
What Lehigh's playing? Is it Prairie View A&M? I think it's.
That's right. I forget the first four is always HBCU.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In that.
It's
written in the stars. I mean, it's a good thing because I know there's some people who and I'm kind of there with people where I don't love that the 16 seed automatic qualifiers are having to go to Dayton, but they're also earning money, and this is their only chance to actually realistically win a game. Yeah. So there's at least that positive. And then you watch games like State and Texas, if you could get past just the absurdity of Dickie V and Charles Barkley. Like, I smiled the whole 2 hours. It was a horrible game to watch, but listening to those two have the same conversation about NIL and just like their random tangents and shout-outs to people was, I'm sure, awful for State fans. But for everybody else who didn't really care who won or lost that game and just eyes were bleeding from what was going on the court, that was entertaining. So, yeah, those are my thoughts.
I'm glad you brought it up. At some point, we're going to talk about the Panthers here, I promise. But I'm glad you brought that up because, at one hand, because I had Hurricanes obligations first, and I didn't really get to the State game until sometime in the second half where I could actually have the sound up. And I remembered that it was Barkley and Vitale, which, by the way, is quite the loan from the folks at ESPN. I get Barkley because there is a connection, but to allow Vitale to do that is just tremendous. And for TNT to ask, for Turner to ask, I think is awesome. And my initial reaction was, man, this is not very good for the game. And then I realized, Brian Anderson clearly didn't have a voice to call the game.
No.
He was getting by on fumes, so he wasn't going to do that. And as it turned out, I know it was the same Dickie V stuff all the time, and Barkley was a little bit better informed than I thought he would be about teams and players, but ultimately he's an NBA guy. But I did enjoy, I kind of unwrapped myself around, I don't need this to be play-by-play, I'm watching it, and I kind of enjoyed just the presence of Vitale and Barkley, who looks pretty good in a three-piece suit.
Yeah, he does. And, Chuck watches ball. I was surprised about, that was the thing when the Turner partnership came in. I didn't love it because you brought in all these NBA guys, at least perceived NBA guys who don't watch the games. I never loved Marv Albert calling some of these games in the tournament, but, it is what it is. Not everyone's going to be like you and I and a lot of people obviously in this state who are diehards who are watching from November all the way through this time. Most of the audience are casuals or people who are filling out the brackets, doing their office pools who don't really care about college basketball. I know the ratings are up, and Dickie V let us know that last night while also complaining about NIL. And also letting us know about his gala coming up down there in Sarasota. So make sure to donate to the V Foundation, which I found funny too.
He sends me the text all the time. He sends me.
He was saying that if it wasn't for the air ball, which it was a pass, Derek Whittenberg, remember the pass?
No, it wasn't. It was an air ball.
As a Carolina guy, I'm going to give him it and say it was a pass.
That's fun.
I just think it's funny.
It's good for you.
But he said without the air ball, there would be no V Foundation. It's there could still have been a V Foundation. I think there's another thing that happened prior that really led to the V Foundation,
right?
Which obviously his diagnosis, and God bless Jimmy V. Would have loved to have been around when he was head coach.
Yes,
just love watching. My favorite 30 for 30 is still Survive in Advance, and I'm not a State guy at all. I told my fiance this a couple years ago when they went on their Final Four runs. I want you to understand, because you're not a basketball person. I want you to understand just how cool it is. As much as I don't love this, but as a basketball fan, how can I sit here and truly hate State having an opportunity and kind of relation back to '83? So yeah, just a wild broadcast, kind of a mockery, but also it's an entertainment product.
Yeah.
And the only thing entertaining about the game last night, other than State losing, was that.
Oh, man. A shot at NC State from Julian Council. Real quick, before I ask you about the Panthers, who's your Final Four?
I think I have UConn, Florida, Arizona, and then I go, who is in the is the West?
Michigan, Iowa State. Yeah, Arizona's in the West. Michigan, Iowa State.
I had Michigan.
All right, there you go. That is Julian Council's Final Four. Who do you have winning it?
I have Arizona.
Okay.
Which I don't feel good about because everyone keeps picking Arizona.
I have Arizona to lose to Duke in the final. But I know you wouldn't pick Duke, and that's fine. All right, let's get...
No, UConn has their number, man. They're going to play UConn, and we all know what happened back in 99.
They're not playing UConn. I think they're going to play Michigan State. Who also, the last time Duke was in the Michigan State and Duke met in the Elite Eight, Michigan State beat the Zion Williamson team. All right, let's...
that's the only time Izzo could beat K, though. But, yeah, let's go. Let's talk Panthers, I guess.
All right. Yeah, I mean, why not? That's why I called you anyway. Dan Morgan did well in free agency, you think?
As far as, the big needs that they had, yeah, for sure. I mean, they got a left tackle and Rasheed Walker, who no one thought his market was going to be what it ended up being. It's a 1 year, $4 million guarantee. I think the details just came out a couple of minutes ago.
Yes.
And it could max out to $10 million. It'll make it interesting when Icky comes back this season. If he comes back this season, how does that whole situation work out there at left tackle? I think that's a great signing that they made on Friday. Obviously, getting Jalen Phillips a needed position at edge rusher. Does it instantly make their pass rush great? No. We saw even with Brian Burns when he was here his final years without Hassan Reddick. It was still a pass rush that ranked near the bottom of the league. So one player alone is not going to be able to change things. It's more about what can Nick Scorton do in his second year? What can Princely Mamielin do? And what else they might possibly add next month in the draft? And then linebacker, I think Devin Lloyd, a phenomenal pickup. And Luke Fortner, the perceived center that they signed, I don't know how much I love that signing, but it feels like they don't really value the position monetarily as much as the other ones on the line of scrimmage, both defensively and offensively. But he talked about just how Devin Lloyd's the guy you got to tell practice, like, hey, buddy, it's not Sunday. Can you relax? So that kind of mentality and getting back to the standard that's been set with, like, Sam Mills, with Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, even Shaq Thompson, John Beeson, Dan Morgan himself, Michael Barrow. That's what they need to do at linebacker, and I think that they checked off the major boxes they needed early last week and then at the end of the last week on Friday by getting Walker.
I said as soon as the first two signings came down, I said I like the Lloyd signing better than I like Phillips. I don't dislike Phillips. It's an overpay, but in terms of the impact, I think Lloyd is going to be great, and I still think that's a position they could draft there. I don't think they draft another edge because I agree. To me, Phillips is there almost as cover for the emergence of Scorton. But I like what they've got in terms of depth there. If they drafted another, maybe I don't think Reuben Bain is going to be there at 19.
No.
But because I think Bain is a player who could slip because of the fact that his arms aren't long, as though, we draft based on silly things, but if enough teams are shy about that, he's not going to drop to 19. But a player like that who maybe could play inside or on the edge, just be a disruptor, I can see them doing something at the linebacker edge area in the draft at 19. I still think they should go left tackle. If it's me, I'm drafting a tackle. I think you and I have talked about
we talked about this last time that I talked to you, and I hadn't thought about it, and I've actually kind of come around on your side. And, I'll say this about Bain. I've seen all the jokes on social media about his short arms, people calling him a T-Rex. Did anyone ever watch Jurassic Park? Did we not see the T-Rex Rex shop in both the original Jurassic Park and in The Lost World and any other iterations of what's now become a terrible franchise? And Michael Crichton's rolling in his grave. Did we not see T-Rex do that? And even when the Velociraptors were jumping all over the T-Rex, didn't need to use its arms, still was able to shake him off and still get the job done. So if the comp for Reuben Bain is a T-Rex, then sign me up after watching what he did at Miami. So, I don't see how in the world he should logically be there at 19. Maybe it happens. I would still be down as far as if they want to do that, because I don't think it's ever a bad thing to get an edge rusher. I don't think it's ever a bad thing to get a defensive tackle.
No.
But tackle in general feels like the right pick. I don't know if I love any of these guys. Like Blake Miller, they were just down there at Clemson Pro Day last week. I don't know how much they want to do that. Obviously, apparently they want to draft Clemson players anyways. And after watching this past year of Clemson, I wouldn't want to do anything with those guys. Clearly they don't have it in them.
I remember when Peter Woods was thought to be the first pick in the draft. And now, he's available 20-something. Which whatever
Wouldn't touch it.
It doesn't even. It's hard to project anyway, but it doesn't even matter at this point. Julian Council, Locked On Panthers podcast, is joining us. I don't know how much you and I talked about Bryce Young when we last talked. But I am curious your thoughts on what certainly Rasheed Walker will help because his specialty, if you will, as a left tackle is pass protection. I'm not sure he didn't lead the NFL in pass protection win rate at tackle last year for Green Bay. But where are you in this is the year we are going to know if he is the guy that they need to invest in? Where are you in that?
I would think, yeah. I mean, they're going to take the fifth-year option, so he's going to be, and that's happening, it sounds like, at the beginning of May, like that's when that's due. So they're going to pick that up. Now it is important for them to go ahead and say, before anything got going this offseason, we are exercising fifth-year option on Bryce Young. So they let everybody know he's going to be the quarterback this upcoming season, and then looking at the financials, going to be about $25 million also in 2027. So he really has the next 2 years to prove that he is the guy, but you would like for it to be this season. You're coming off of a year where you finally got into the playoffs. Yes, you may have backdoored your way in. You don't make any apologies about doing that. You got that experience, and he was an additive, a plus down the stretch in that run to get to the playoffs, and was good in that game against the Rams. So you're trending in the right direction 2 seasons in a row at the end. Can you get the consistency? Can you get off to a good start? I don't know what their schedule is going to look like. We'll find out in 2 months' time as the NFL knows good and damn well what it's going to be. They just won't tell us, which is always one of the most annoying things that every month has to have some big thing. Just tell me when the games are going to be played, NFL. But they got to get to a good start. And they have the offensive line. Ickey was going to be a big question mark. What they're going to do at center is going to be a big question mark. I think they're solid up front. And the depth-wise is a question. But as far as the starting five, they can stay healthy. And typically that cycles back and forth as far as being healthy on the offensive line. Should be a healthy year this upcoming fall, knock on wood. Running game, I know they just signed A.J. Dillon. Cool. I'm kind of skeptical there as far as what they really have in-house. Didn't think Rigo needed to come back. But then at wide receiver, like T-Mac's good.
Yeah.
Coker, he's solid. Hasn't been able to play a full season yet. Leggett, I could do without. Mechie, I'm not super convinced he's going to come in and be that much of an upgrade for them, if at all. So I still think that the weapons are going to have to grow around him, and that's going to also be a limiter, or as far as the ceiling goes for Bryce this season, as far as how good he's going to look. I think in front of him, he's solid there. Just on the guys on the outside and behind him, I still have questions. So, yeah, I do agree that this is one of those years where we really find out what you have in Bryce, especially playing a first-place schedule. I don't know if it has to be the year where you have to make a decision next offseason whether he's going to be your guy or not. Now, it would be nice for them because looking at some of the cap hits next year, they're going to need to bring some numbers down. It would be nice if they could extend Bryce and not have to worry about his cap number being high in 2027.
Julian Council, Locked On Panthers podcast. If the tight end from Oregon is there, and I've seen him go early, and I have seen him last into the late teens. I saw one mock draft have him picked immediately before Carolina. That, to me, is a weapon that Bryce Young could use. But I've been Team Bryce.
Are they going to use him, though?
Well, I theoretically, if you draft him, yes. I can't imagine they wouldn't. I don't think they have a good tight end. I think they have. They have
the worst tight end production in the league since 2020. Much like they have the worst pass rush production in the league since 2020. You can look at least at edge rusher and see, all right, they can get there at some point in time to being a solid unit, maybe not spectacular, but certainly solid. Tight end, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think they have anybody that wows you. Now, Sanders is one of those things, okay, his first full off season, he's got a professional chef that he met at FedEx for some reason, which was really interesting, and his body's in great shape. You hear about everybody, best shape of their life, and then he was injured all season, did not take that next step. Mitchell Evans looks like you got something there. Tommy Tremble, who he is. So, I mean, I agree. Tight end doesn't wow me, but you do have two young guys that they just drafted the last 2 cycles. They have a guy Tommy Tremble, he's a veteran, but he's still young overall. So I don't really know what the appetite is for them to go out and get it. I've heard that they'd be interested in a tight end. I don't know about if they're going to get Kenyon Sadiq at 19. And if they do, are you going to trade somebody? Because do you need 4? They didn't really they kept 3 active throughout the season. And then are you going to use them? I mean, Dave, he used Kate Otten back in Tampa, but they haven't really used a tight end in the last 2 years. And you could say, oh, well, they don't really have a tight end.
Well, that's what I think. I think if you had a better at that position, I think
Brad is calling the plays now, so maybe Brad wants to tight end.
He wants to use a tight end. But here's where because I've been Team Bryce from the beginning. But here's where I think that this is the year you have to find out. Because to me, you don't draft your quarterback, because I assume they would be drafting a quarterback and not trading for one. But you don't draft your quarterback after Bryce Young's 5th year. You draft him after the 4th year, and then you let Bryce bridge you to the 5th year. That's the way I would do it. So, to me, you find out for real if he is your franchise quarterback. And if the answer is yes, then you work on the extension then. If the answer is no, then you work on who's next heading into year 5. That's the way I would do it.
It's going to be interesting. I think the guy, I think he can be solid for him. Is he ever going to be – and, what is our expectation for the number 1 overall pick nowadays? Is it that he's going to be a Hall of Fame? What is that expectation? Joe Burrow's been really good. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has had his moments. I mean, I don't think Kyler Murray has been spectacular.
No,
he's been just fine.
Kyler Murray's a terrible first overall pick, in my opinion.
He's been someone who's been – he's been playable. It's not like he's ever been oh, my God, this guy cannot play. Baker Mayfield – has panned out, but it took a while for him to get to this point in time. I just think maybe they can learn a lesson from the past where you look at, Sam going, and he wasn't good here in Carolina. We all understand it. We need to make up any lies about what happened with Sam. But it worked out for him in the end so far. And he still turned the ball over a ton this past season, but he got into a spot where he could just be Sam and not have to try to do everything. And Baker's gotten to a spot where he can just be Baker, and they allow him to be his personality, and he can go out there and sling it, and they have enough around him. I just want them to be able to allow Bryce to be who he is and be a little bit more patient than they've been in the past in trying to just constantly change quarterbacks every offseason and make the mistakes that have led them to where it finally got to the point now where it looks like they have the right guy. So I don't look at this as a decision that needs to be made next offseason. Mm-hmm. It would be nice if they could do that. I just think there's mechanisms to keep a quarterback around. You want to be sure, but you also don't want to rush in anything, whether it's moving on or extending him. That's how I feel about the situation. And I'm still on the fence, man. I think he can be fine. I just don't know how good he's going to be.
Julian Council, Locked On Panthers podcast at Julian Council. Good luck to your brackets, except in the East. Congratulations. I didn't realize you had a fiance, so congratulations on that.
Yeah, I guess I'm not very open about my social
life.
That's fine.
It's okay. The fact that you mentioned it makes me feel good about how close you and I are. I'm smiling at you. Thank you very much, my man. I appreciate your time.
Well, I appreciate it, Adam, as always. As I told you, I don't want to make you feel old. It's I listened to you back when I was in school, and it's always a pleasure to come on with you and have these conversations. So I appreciate you, Adam.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, bye.
I listened to you when I was a kid, when my dad would drive me to kindergarten.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Hope you're watching on YouTube. Julian's great. He's great. And he helps me feel young. Until just then.
Yeah, well, that was just last week. There. He left that part out.
Just right
last
there.
Week. Yes,
just right there. All right. Well, what's the format of the show?
We rewind at this point.
I
might need to stretch too. But
I want to talk a little bit about the World Baseball Classic, because I do think that Derek Jeter was wrong. On top of that, Max Crosby opens up on his own podcast, so it's very easy to open up. He grilled himself on what happened in Baltimore. You'll hear that next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you ready to make a difference? Become Mental Health First Aid certified with the Governor's Institute. This free one-day training will give you the skills to recognize, understand, and respond to mental health and substance use challenges. Whether you're a friend, coworker, or caregiver, you can be the support someone needs. The training is available in person or online and is open to everyone. No experience required. Take the first step today. Visit milvetacademy.org to learn more.
You know the only feeling sweeter than opening a college acceptance letter? Knowing that you'll be able to pay for tuition however far you go. The first step? Completing the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA for short. Find out how much money for college you qualify for. Grants, scholarships, and other opportunities are waiting. How far can you go? Find out at cfnc.org/FAFSA 101.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you looking for a 2-year hands-on agricultural degree while still gaining the university experience? I'm Lee Ivey, Director of the Agriculture Institute at NC State University. We offer 6 associate's degrees that span the agricultural industry and set our students up to meet their goals. Come live on campus, learn on our farms, and be a part of the NC State community. Invest in yourself and learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
Now, all across North Carolina, it's Carolina Newsmakers. Each week, leaders from politics, education, business, and the arts join Don Curtis to share insights and ideas shaping our state. Hear interviews that go beyond the headlines with guests who know North Carolina best. Listen on the radio stations throughout North Carolina and on demand at carolinanewsmakers.com.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. This month, we delve into patient-centered policy and how it aligns with actual patient care. My guests are from Novant Health. Elizabeth Outen. She leads the Novant Health Center for Public Policy Solutions, and Dr. Sid Fletcher is the steering committee physician chair.
The clinicians, they're focused on the patient, the person that's in front of them as their primary part of the mission. They're not having to think about policy and other things in the background that can be distractions towards the clinical work.
It is enabling clinicians to care for our patients in the way that they were trained to do. They are the experts. They're dealing with exactly these challenges you're highlighting every single day, plus the medical knowledge that they have, and the policy needs to follow that.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Person in front of me in line had a box of wine.
Oh, yeah. I feel that person. If you are buying boxed wine on a Friday, that thing is open right now.
In the car.
Yeah. I don't even need it to cool down.
She jammed a big straw right through the top of the box in the car.
Went to the gas station to get a cup of ice. Like, they don't even care.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Scott disagreed with me on Twitter when I gave Will Wade an F for coaching this year.
Oh, I did see that on our YouTube.
It's fine. It's okay. Yeah. It's all right. given the roster, given the expectations, not just ours, their own publicly stated expectations for the season, and given how he could not get them to play as a unit together, if you asked Will Wade, what grade would you give yourself for this year? I promise you he would say an F.
Yeah, he's very disappointed.
So I am not about in any way softening criticism for anybody. I may have explanations for why it's not that big of a deal or things like that. But that's exactly what Will Wade would say. Because this group of players clearly underachieved by a significant margin. We'll just leave it right there. All right, before we get to a rewind, I want to handle a couple of different things. I mentioned this earlier, but the World Baseball Classic was the championship game was last night. Venezuela won their first by beating the United States 3-2. Clearly, the United States is a hockey country now. Can we just admit that?
Obviously.
That we're just about hockey.
Sorry, Canada.
Right?
You just got syrup.
That's it. We have men's hockey, women's hockey. The Paralympic team won gold.
Yep.
Dominant 6-2.
Yep.
So look, we're a hockey nation first and foremost. Baseball, we used to dabble. So Venezuela has not. You could see it in the. By the way, during the semifinals, watching Venezuela, Italy. I'm not sure that the United States wasn't the road team yesterday. Not sure. So earlier in the tournament, matter of fact, I believe it was after the semifinal win over the Dominican Republic, Aaron Judge, noted Yankee, who has been in a World Series before. Didn't win it, but was in it. Aaron Judge said the atmosphere was better than the World Series. Now, I don't know if anybody said that this event was more important than the World Series, but Judge said the atmosphere was better than the World Series. So let's assume that somebody else compared the events as in terms of importance and said the event was more important than the World Series. Derek Jeter, as you'll hear the question from Kevin Burkhardt on Fox yesterday, Derek Jeter begs to differ.
Passion's been unbelievable, and we've heard a lot of players say bigger than a World Series. Bigger than a World Series, Derek Jeter?
I think the people that said it's bigger than the World Series never played in the World Series.
Oh! Super arrogant, snobbish, all of that. That is Derek Jeter in the back of a limousine with the gray poupon.
Right.
Some people will remember that commercial.
Oh, yeah.
On High and Mighty, I believe there will be a gift basket next.
Mm-hmm.
So Venezuela, who won it, Eugenio Suarez, who got the go-ahead, drove in the go-ahead run to put Venezuela up 3-2. On the field, after it was over, was asked by Ken Rosenthal of Fox, what makes the team so special? Listen to this.
The union. We are together the whole time. We're not just teammates. We are family. This team is awesome. We are family here. That's why we play with passion, with love, because we feel the jersey. We feel our country in front of us. That's why this is a lot for us as players, as a people, as a human beings, and as a Venezuela. Now we are the champion.
I always I bristle at we're playing for our country, like when, USA Hockey, right? I get it. To an extent, you are. I think those guys are. I think Venezuela or the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico. I think they are absolutely playing for a nation. Eduardo Rodriguez, not sure who he won the World Series with, but he has a World Series ring. Remember what Derek Jeter said? Anybody who thinks the World Series, the World Baseball Classic, is bigger than the World Series has never played in a World Series. Here's somebody who did.
Gentlemen, congratulations from all of us. Is that the greatest moment of your baseball career, what you were able to do on the mound tonight?
I mean, I tell you what, like, I won the World Series a couple years ago, and there's nothing that I can compare with this, Like, this is the greatest moment I ever got on the mound, pitching like that in front of almost like our home crowd, Like, the whole Venezuela was here, and I know our country back then, everybody was there too, So I can't compare this moment to nothing. Be on the mound like that and have the whole crowd, like, on us all the time is just something that I can't even tell you how I feel right now.
Eduardo Rodriguez said this was way bigger than the World Series. I mean, that's just I guess he was with the Red Sox, not just a couple of years ago. It was like 2017. Because I thought it was the Red Sox, but he said a couple of years ago. I'm like, I don't remember him being in the World Series. It just depends on your perspective and what matters. So, to Derek Jeter, maybe winning a World Series is more important than winning a World Baseball Classic for Team USA. And that's fair. Bryce Harper let in just how important the World Baseball Classic wasn't a week ago when he said, it's not the Olympics. And that's okay. It doesn't have to mean more to you than it does to any, than the World Series. And he's got a World Series to his credit too, Bryce Harper. And by the way, I believe Harper, did he strike out for the final out? I don't know if he did or not. I didn't see the final out because I was otherwise occupied. But he did hit the 2-run homer that tied the game. But to a player from Venezuela or a player from the Dominican Republic, or heck, if Cuba had gotten this far, or Puerto Rico or Japan, I'm sorry, you just don't know. And I think Jeter comes off as arrogant and obnoxious in that statement. Arrogant, totally obnoxious about, you just haven't played in the World Series.
Big time.
So.
I don't touch my own door handles. People open doors for them all the time, maybe. Okay. Grey Poupon.
I was trying to get there with you. Very nice. All right, let's do, we didn't do the Max Crosby thing. Oh, man. All right, we got to listen to Max Crosby. All right, so for people who do not remember, Max Crosby was this close to being a member of the Baltimore Ravens. In fact, there was a trade where the Ravens would send 2 first-round picks to the Raiders for Max Crosby, who happens to be 32 years old. It might be crazy to send 2 first-round picks for somebody who's not a quarterback, who's already in his 30s. And maybe that's where the Ravens went the other way. Max Crosby, on his own podcast, opened up about what happened.
Before I left, I wanted to see the head coach and just chop it up, talk football, talk ball. Like, he's a defensive guy. Never met him before like that, so I wanted to chop it up. So I didn't get to meet with him till the end of the day. I didn't get to see the GM at all. I thought I was going to see him when I first got there. I didn't see him for 5 hours.
So he didn't come out the whole time you're testing or doing your physical. Everyone's talking about
never.
The GM never came once out to see you.
And I don't know why. I'm not going to speculate. I didn't see him one time. I even asked the girl. I was like, "Where's Eric at?" Like, I want to say, like, you know what I mean? Like, he just made the trade. Like, I didn't see him for 5 hours. So I go and do my thing. At the end, they're like, "Yeah, I'll take you up." Joe was like, "I'll take you up and you go see the head coach, whatever, just before you leave." I was like, "Hell yeah!" I was like, "That's what I want to say what's up to him." So I went back up, and you could just tell like the energy was a little bit off. And the GM was standing in like the hall, like in the room next to me to the right. And that was the first time I seen him. I go into the room, they sit me down on the couch, and he's like, "Man, I don't know how to say this, but, one of our doctors has concerns with the results and whatever, and like with your knee, like some of them have, are concerned about the future and da-da-da-da-da. And, we really want you, and this is what it is, but, we're just going to have to get more and more opinions. And fast forward, I want to take all day, but they tell me, like, yeah, we're going to get back to you. Like, we're going to get some more opinions and things. Like, we obviously want you, this, and that. And I'm like, all right, okay, so we'll see. Neil calls me, and he called me way down. He's like, Max, don't listen to any of that. He's like, your knee is great. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, or even ahead of schedule. He's like, you're doing everything right. He's like, everything's going well. We're going to keep sticking to the plan. He's like, you will be back by training camp. That has been the damn timeline since the beginning. That hasn't changed.
And that's what was communicated out of your camp, too, correctly? Like, during this
100%.
whole time.
100%.
All right. Well, the Ravens kept the receipt. They returned Max Crosby, got their 2 first-round picks back, and then went and signed a player, Trey Hendrickson, from the Bengals, who's just not as good, but didn't come at the cost of 2 first-round picks. I mean, I understand the way it looks. It looks like the Ravens decided, you know what? 2 first-round picks for a guy in his 30s, probably not a good idea, which I agree with. Except sometimes we buy stuff and not a good idea.
All right.
I told the story. I kept the receipts. We went shopping a couple of years ago. Somehow it came out with 3 belts, and I went, they cost what?
Yeah.
I took all 3 belts back.
Right.
All of them. And I bought like 2 belts, one of which was reversible for not even as much as one of the belts cost.
Man.
They're probably not as good. But
Wouldn't
you know
be
what?
good enough for Derek Jeter, that's for sure.
They keep my pants up. And that's the only thing I'm concerned about, keeping my pants up. All right, before we get out of here, very quickly about tonight. Canes and the Penguins tonight. We're moving on from last night. There's a lot to say about last night. I'll probably get some of it out during the Storm Watch tonight, which if you are listening locally, 6:30 tonight, Canes and the Penguins will drop the puck at 7:08. But tonight, in part because last night was a loss, but in either way, tonight's a big night. Hurricanes are 7 points ahead of the Penguins, who not only got Yevgeny Malkin back on Monday, but will get Sidney Crosby back tonight. So they will be fully operational, and the Penguins are already good. 7-point lead over the Penguins. Play tonight, play Sunday in Pittsburgh. 7-point lead on the Islanders. They still have 2 games left with the Islanders. They still have 2 games left with the Blue Jackets. The Hurricanes need to dial in tonight. Big game. Freddie Anderson. Seth Jarvis will score a goal. Thank you, Victoria.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. It's a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity